used tear gas, they say, to protect themselves. Fox's Griff Jenkins is in Tijuana.
We're hearing a lot of chatter about more marches, one that may come today, although the rain has certainly damped down those chances. And we hear that there may be a larger one being planned on Saturday, which is the inauguration day for Mexico's incoming president. There's undoubtedly going to be more sorts of issues. We talked to one migrant named Marco Munoz, and he said that because migrants from the very beginning were misled about how easy it would be to get across when they get here, adds to the tension building that ultimately a large group of them are going to just throw it all in and try and rush the border again.
During last weekend's confrontation, dozens were arrested. Now the Associated Press is reporting from a U.S. official that no criminal charges will be filed against 42 migrants who were detained at that time. A popular burger chain might put itself up for sale.
Jack in the Box is exploring options that could include a sale of the company after divesting its Qdoba brand earlier this year, according to Reuters. Sources say the fast food chain started talks with potential buyers this month, including private equity firms. A sale would be the latest in a series of deals in the fast food industry this year, including the sale of Sonic to Arby's owner Inspire Brands for over $2 billion. Jack in the Box has more than 2,000 restaurants. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street. Stocks turning higher. The Dow's now up 108 points, partly due to the Fed minutes and a positive outlook for the economy. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Circle K now offers Pop's Bake Shop products, cream cheese rolls, malasadas, delicious donuts, and more. Come see why Pop's Bakery is a Southern gem. Circle K, take it easy. Circle K now offers Bento Chef Sushi. Enjoy a selection of sushi, maki, and musubi made fresh every day. Circle K, take it easy.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Half a day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us PICA's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Your first look at 93.3 The Point News is brought to you by Guam Hearing Doctors. Call the experts at Guam Hearing Doctors if you're worried about your hearing. The evaluation is simple and painless.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. An effort to place an emergency bill on the session agenda yesterday failed after a heated debate that took up the entire morning session. Although the measure has not yet had a public hearing, Senator Tom Atta urged immediate consideration of the bill to avoid an $8 million deficit in the current fiscal year budget. His Bill 374 would amend the property tax increase, the wording for that increase that is part of the 2019 budget law, by adding just 2 words. Those words are or more. The addition was necessary in the wake of an Attorney General opinion issued Tuesday. That opinion was requested by Reverend Tax Director John Camacho, who sought clarification on which properties the new property tax increase would apply to, because the wording in the current law says the tax applies to improvements on property with a value of $1 million. In the absence of the words "or more," Camacho said taxpayers might contest the tax if it's imposed on properties that have a value of more than $1 million. The Attorney General's concluded that that's what the current law says. The new tax would apply only to properties valued at exactly $1 million, no more and no less. The result, argued Senator Adda yesterday, would be an unexpected loss of $8 million that poses a direct threat to the health and safety of the people of Guam. He asked for the hearing requirement on the bill to be waived, but Senator Fernando Esteves objected, saying the legislature has consistently maintained that bills that have not been publicly heard cannot be deliberated on the floor. Fellow lawmakers agreed. Senator Adda's effort to get that bill on the session agenda for consideration failed. OSHA officials have referred all questions about Sunday's job site fatality to their spokesman in San Francisco, who has not yet responded to requests for comment. The federal agency has yet to release any details about the incident or identify the victim's employer. J. Daryl Wasisong died after being struck by a backhoe Sunday at a work site along Palomares Street off Route 15 in Manilao. Guam Fire Department spokesman Kevin Riley confirming that GFD medics responded to an emergency call at that location Sunday afternoon. He said a worker had been spotting for the backhoe operator who was digging a hole when the worker was apparently struck by the backhoe bucket. When medics arrived, they found the man unconscious and unresponsive. Wasisong was taken to Guam Memorial Hospital, where he later died. Wasisong's employer has not been officially identified, and it's not clear whether the employer informed OSHA of the fatal accident in a timely manner. OSHA compliance officer Sydney Meager told the Post Wednesday that she had not been notified of the fatality. All employers are required to notify OSHA within 8 hours after an employee has been killed on the job. We'll have more news after this.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times, or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crate with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
News time here at The Point is 12 minutes past 6 a.m. Throughout the hearing in District Court of yesterday, senior U.S. District Court Judge Susan Oki-Mulway questioned the case the federal government made against the Chamorro Land Trust Act. Judge Mulway suggested alternative language that might eliminate references to race. She wondered aloud whether she should postpone her decision, and she finally concluded by suggesting to both parties that they explore the possibility of holding a settlement conference if they thought it would be fruitful. As Justice Department Attorney Catherine Lagomsky presented her argument that the Chamorro Land Trust Act was race-based discrimination because it makes land available only to native Chamorros, the judge asked whether there was a way to change the language and take out references to Chamorros. She asked whether the CLTC might be viewed as an act to compensate a class of people who suffered a loss rather than a benefit for a specific racial group. During his presentation, Deputy Attorney General Ken Orcutt said the biggest fallacy with the federal government's case against the CLTC is the claim that the act is race-based. He said it simply is not. It is political. Orcutt said the Organic Act created a political, not a racial class of people. Judge Mulway took the arguments under advisement, and the decision is expected at a later time. Also in district court yesterday, Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood sentenced Alfred Mallett Jr. to 7 years in federal prison for his role in a scheme to bring 345 grams of meth into Guam. The street value of that amount estimated to be about $275,000. The 37-year-old Mallett wiped tears from his eyes during the sentencing. He apologized to his family and the people of Guam and said he takes full responsibility for the crime. Mallett's defense attorney, Gloria Randolph, asked for a reduced sentence, saying Mallett had only minimal participation in the crime, but Judge Gatewood wasn't buying it. Mallett admitted to knowing the package contained meth and tracking its arrival and delivery on his cell phone, and the judge concluded that showed that he was heavily involved in the crime. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Yay, we got lots of stuff to talk about today. In the weather, clouds increasing through the day with mostly cloudy skies expected this weekend. Isolated showers becoming scattered tonight through Saturday. There's northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour. Highs around 89 degrees with a max afternoon heat index around 101 today. Cooler over the weekend, lows at 77 degrees. Now, I knew there was going to be a heat index today because when I jump in the car, there was dew in the window.
Yeah, not only that, but if you were outside, as I was coming down the stairs this morning, it was like, whoa, it's really oppressive out here this morning. Kind of real humid, and it was awful warm for a morning.
Really? Are you sure that's not just a holdover from you being sick yesterday?
Well,
I
it could be
didn't
some
get
of
that feeling.
too. Yeah, because I'm not wearing a jacket in here today, and all of you guys are bundled up. My medicine must be working.
It should be working. We'll take a quick look at the weather radar and give me an idea of what that thing is over to the southeast.
That is 93W Invest as it continues, and no chance of development with the system, but it is the western terminus of a fairly large trough. And what happens with the trough? You get air that's circulating in a counterclockwise direction, but over an extended space. We're on the western side. Yeah, we're on the on the west side. So we're getting those northeast winds. You can see the clouds. They're going to be moving in over the next the next 48 hours or so. Really give us a good chance of rain between now and tomorrow, but it should start to dry up a little bit on Sunday. And we're going to stay cloudy into next week. You can see the clouds back behind there, but it's going to be more of a drier trade wind type situation.
Okay, all right. So no, low possibility for grill marks this weekend.
Yeah, through tomorrow, but Sunday actually looks pretty good.
Maybe a little bit. Okay, now we got the K-pop thing that we're all going to tomorrow. And so what's the weather going to be like for that?
I'd take an umbrella because you know we get those occasional showers, but I think it will certainly not be a rain out by any stretch. I think most of this rain will blow through today and tonight. Actually.
All right. So what's the forecast for Korean hot pants tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, 6:16. That's news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
It's the King's crazy holiday menu that is in effect through I imagine through all of the holidays here. We just finished with Thanksgiving and on our way to Christmas, and on our way to New Year's. It's happening fast, isn't it, folks? What do we get? They got a crazy local, the crazy combos. They got the crazy breakfast, too, including the breakfast burger that I want you to... Look, it's a burger. How do you say no to a burger? Any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can have and enjoy a burger. But, you know, I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm having a burger at breakfast time. Maybe we could put some breakfast notions on it. All right. Well, they're crazy enough to try this. King's Burger Patty, American cheese, bacon, hash browns, and fried egg on top of a Hawaiian sweetbread French toast. That does sound good, doesn't it? They're waiting to cook it for you at King's.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho 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 without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Portions of the Raymond Gibson Show brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. I got my buddies over at American President Line, shipping the future, American Water Tech, where they're all about smarter water, better water, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. Not only the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs, they've already done 9 in the month of November alone, right? Get yourself diagnosed. Maybe you too could be a candidate for the next round of open heart surgeries at GRMC.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Gotcha. And portions of the program also brought to you by my buddies over at Cold Stone Creamery. I tell you, they are the Louis Pasteurs of culinary adventure. They've taken ice cream and cake and pies and jammed them all together in pie scream cakes. So you definitely got to try it. The one that we're supposed to be selling a whole lot of these days is the one where they're using Ghirardelli sea salt caramel ice cream with yellow cake with graham cracker pie crust. Doesn't that sound good? Try it. Become the next big hero at your office get-together or family gathering for the holidays with a pie scream cake from Cold Stone Creamery.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Big Sister Sally says, it's showtime. And sure enough, it's a Friday showtime. I don't know if you can hear the additional frisky in my voice. And that's to be expected because I've been drinking coffee since 4 o'clock this morning. And I don't normally dress my coffee. I'm a coffee black kind of guy. But today I decided today maybe just a little bit of extra oomph to carry us all into the end of the weekend.
What did you use?
Extra Joss. You know what Extra Joss is?
No idea.
Extra Joss is these little sachets.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically powdered Red Bull. Is what it is.
Yeah, because coffee doesn't
just
have
not
enough caffeine in it.
Enough. It's just not enough energy, and so you take these, and I shouldn't talk about it because it's hard to get. There's, as far as I know, just like one store on Guam that sells it, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is. But there's like one store that sells it. Generally, when I have friends that are going to the Philippines, they say, can I bring something back? And the old joke used to be a 100-pound rice cooker. But, some people found that offensive, so I don't do that one anymore. So, yeah, just give me a couple of boxes of Extra Joss. And you open up the sachet, and then you put it in water. You're supposed to drink it in, like, this much water. Mm-hmm. I drink it in that much water, so it's concentrated.
Makes it better.
Pow, and so that's what I got going on this morning. Now that's me. What's your story? Because you've been bouncing off the walls in there.
I just feel so much better than I felt yesterday.
Yeah,
I was starting to come down with this bug, and I left right after work, went to the doctor, and what we did basically is we nipped it in the bud and caught it early. So I took my antibiotics yesterday, spent all of yesterday afternoon and last night.
I'll get you Z-Packs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what else, if you're going to the Philippines, that's what else I want.
Absolutely, yeah. So I spent the night and the afternoon and the night tossing and turning, breaking fevers over and over. I'm a little tired, but I feel 100% better than yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can hear the energy in your voice. Yeah. And it's just so we need to get some of that stuff for Kevin.
I got a full cup here.
The coffee has no effect on you. I mean, I still get that, kind of buzz going on. So it's all in your head now.
Right. Kevin's like a diesel engine, man. He just needs a little pushing, and he just grinds along, and you can't slow him down.
Grinding away, that's it.
Well, and grinding away on a ton of great stories. We'll get around to talking about some of those great stories. But first, as we like to start off the program.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
And why not? I got Ismail is there, Andy Tydenko, Vivian Sablan LZ, Lynn Vince Borja Polino, who beat Shelley to the start of the show today. Says, good morning, everybody. And who else I got here? Melissa Salas Akimoto. Nice to see you there. Charlene Marcia. So, Mark Cruz, JZ Taiminglu is watching the program in a big way. Buenos Hamzas todos, he says. Lynn and Carl Fukuda is there. Mark, why you got so much Mark coming up here? Oh, because he's waving and saying good morning at the same time. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, Gov, you're still the one. Nice to see you online this morning. Mo Cotton, Dora Marie Fergiger, and Jeff Ojeda. And here it comes. The trash talking begins early here between Ishmael and Brad. Ishmael says, Brad Hewitt will secretly be watching Pac-12 championship game tomorrow in Huskies furry slippers, drinking out of his Huskies coffee mug. No! There's a thing going on there.
The funny thing is,
Brad's response is, anybody paying attention to the legislature this week, probably the most worthless, not to mention clueless lame duck session in recorded history. Brad, yes, we are paying attention to what's going on over at the legislature, because I'm wary that there could be some kind of sneaking in of things that maybe we don't want sneaking in. Because they weren't originally part of the session agenda. So, yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. I've actually got audio. We have audio this morning. So I'm going to play it. We'll play it once this time. And your challenge, Mr. Producer, is to come up with some kind of appropriate music bed or medley that we might be able to apply to these proceedings that took place over at the legislature yesterday.
There's been a motion to place Bill number 374 onto the session agenda. And it is the ruling of the chair that we will place this bill. Shall the decision of the chair be overruled?
There was a motion, Madam Speaker, there was a motion placed on the floor.
Yes.
And an objection. It should go to a vote.
This is the ruling of the presiding officer.
It never went to the presiding officer. There was a motion and there was an objection on the floor.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Let's bring some decorum to this body, if you will. I believe the way the standing rules reads is that a member of the body can make a motion to waive, in this case, such as I did, to waive the public hearing and to place the bill on the agenda. It is based on the justifications that I gave that there is an emergency. It is the Speaker's prerogative to determine whether, in fact, she concurs with the statements that there is an emergency. If then she determines that there is an emergency and the body does not agree with it, then it takes 8 votes to overrule the Speaker's decision. That's the way it goes. Read the standing rules. So if she determines that it's an emergency, then get your 8 votes to overrule it.
Point of personal privilege, call to the House.
Boom! Did you see that? Esteve just stepped in there. Boom! Here comes, wait a second, Tommy's going to come up. Tom the Hammers, he's pondering. There he goes, into action.
You know that's impossible. We got 3 members who are off island, and they're not going to come in.
It's not debatable.
We got members who are over
House.
at the court. So all we need to do to conduct business is establish quorum.
Call to the House, Madam Speaker.
Boom! Mic drop from Fernandez. Now, there was a little bit of legislative drama that occurred after that, and that was at 25 minutes and 48 minutes into a session that lasted 49 minutes and 16 seconds, although between the 25 minutes and 48-second mark and the 49-second and 16-second mark, virtually nothing happened. It was just conversation among them. The microphones were off. A lot of walking around, as you might imagine, over at the legislature. Now, the bill at stake that they were referring to was a bill that is discussed quite handily in the front page of the Guam Daily Post this morning. Rush to fix an error that could cost $8 million. Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier, right? This is the one where the real property taxes, and I'm not a fan of the tax increase whatsoever. It doesn't necessarily affect me, because I don't have any real property that's valued over $1 million, or I'm sorry, at $1 million.
Right.
If it's at $1 million, if it's exactly $1 million, then this tax increase applies to me. But the intent of the legislature was that it would be $1 million or more. But the words "or more" don't show up in the budget anywhere. And the Attorney General has opined that it needs to show up somewhere. So they figured what we'll do is we'll just we'll toss something in over at the next session of the legislature and close that door. But Estevez obviously has some problems with it. And as I understand it, Kevin, you were paying attention to this yesterday. They eventually did vote on the measure, or did they?
No, they voted on putting it on the agenda. And they defeated that motion, so it is not on the agenda because no public hearing was held.
Even regardless of the idea that the speaker had waived the requirement for a public hearing per standing rules.
No, she didn't do that. The whole effort was to place it on the agenda. She asked that it be placed on the agenda,
right?
And they had to take a vote
on whether or not
to place it on the agenda, and
that vote failed.
Correct.
So the measure is not going to be there.
Yeah, so it's not on the agenda for this session. There may be another session before January, and the change of administration and legislature. We'll see.
All right, and so they went through a couple of other measures and put those on the second reading file, and then decided that they're going to hold out until 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's when session is going back in at 4 o'clock this afternoon. 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and I'll register my thoughts on that in just a little bit. In fact, Tom the Hammer Atta is going to be joining us about 6:35, a little bit more on the drama that took place yesterday, and we'll see what happened. So, yes, Brad, we're all paying attention to what's going on over at the legislature. Ted Lewis is off a day. Ramon, Michael, and Kevin. I like it when you call me Ramon. Juanita Machi is there. Liz Barrazo, Vivian Cunningham, Doris Mendiola. Bob Lizama, Greg Massey is on. Ashley Calvo Rodriguez is watching the program in the middle of the dark, I believe. Bob Lizama saying, "Good morning, everybody. Have a great weekend." That's the plan so far. I see my old pal Margaret Young Agolto and Yoichi Rengil. Yoichi asking a question, and I'll get to it in a second. Anita Santos, Rod Rose Greeno, Francie Salas. Yoich is asking Ali Ray, Ungil Tutao, and PDN is still not out, which is very interesting. I'm wondering if this is the longest time PDN has not been published. Yoich, go look outside. Go if you're getting home delivery. They printed. Well, they didn't print. My understanding is
go pick up a copy.
Yeah, you just get a copy of the Post. They've had some difficulties with their printers. So today's issue of the Pacific Daily News is basically catching up on stories that we were running, in the last 3 days anyway. But to answer your question, it has been printed. And I think it has been printed by the guys over at the Guam Daily Post. Anybody else I need to check in with? Lillian Cruz is there. Johnson Nicholas with a reminder, 24 days, 17 hours, 38 minutes or so until it gets to be Christmas. I appreciate that. Doesn't help me. Doesn't help me whatsoever. Can I tell you, I've done a little bit of shopping in the last few days. But frankly, it was all stuff for me. So I've kind of already Christmased myself.
Yeah, my Christmas so far is just involved trying to keep my cat from tearing all of my Christmas decorations off the walls. Quite a challenge.
You'll have to wrap them in something. Carl Facuda noting that the Guam basketball wins versus Indonesia 65-53 in a highly defensive game. Guam gets 1 of 4 tickets to the next round. And a little bit later on, Blake and I can talk about that, and he can explain exactly what that means. Rico Blancaflor is there, Nick Perlowski, Ken LG. I offer this as a suggestion, and he sends me a link to YouTube. Stand by as I open that up in the sandbox, so we'll see what it says. There's Linda Gabriel, Ryan St. Nicholas, Frankie Gutierrez. And Denise Legaspi. Lady D. Okay, so we now have, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted. We now have, as Senator Bob Klitsky will refer as from time to time, I believe we have a quorum. We'll take a 1-minute recess for headlines for the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Guahan Academy Charter School asking to use Guam DOE's Building E in Tiedzin because they need more classroom space and parking spots. Former Legislative Speaker Judy Wonpat is the school's chief academic officer. She told the Guam Daily Post that she sent the request to Superintendent John Fernandez back in August when Building E was vacant. Building E used to house Guam DOE's federal program employees, but they had been moved to the department's newly built administrative headquarters, so the building was vacant back in August. Months went by, however, without a firm answer for use of the building until last week when a letter went out from the governor to Superintendent Fernandez advising him that the building should be vacated to make room for GACs. But now the building is occupied. It's being used for special needs students. The governor's education liaison, Vince Leon Guerrero, has been called into the squabble. He's trying to work out the problem. He's asked to schedule a site visit to Building E today and to other Guam DOE space at Chief Brody Elementary School to see if some room can be found for the Guahan Academy. A former altar boy's encounter with a priest when he was 12 has scarred him for life, according to the latest lawsuit filed against the Archdiocese of Agana in the Superior Court of Guam. In all, the Archdiocese facing nearly 200 lawsuits now. In the civil complaint, an individual referred to as Andy alleges he was sexually molested by the now deceased priest Raymond Cepeda, who served as a priest under the Archdiocese until he was removed in 2009. The lawsuit is seeking $5 million in damages. A 42-year-old man is behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a woman known to him on several occasions while she was handcuffed to a chair. Frankie Leon Guerrero Santos Jr. arrested by police after the victim, a 35-year-old woman, reported that Santos had come to her home while she was sleeping. The woman awoke, made a check of her home when Santos allegedly came from behind and shoved her into her bedroom. Court documents say the victim told police that she shouted for help. Santos told her to stop. Santos is accused of grabbing the victim's neck, strangling her, throwing her onto the bed. The woman's cell phone rang, and she was able to inform the caller what was happening. That caller then notified police, which led to the arrest. Santos has been charged with criminal sexual conduct, family violence, and unlawful restraint. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you, buddy. iConnect giving away instant prizes with each new 12-month plan through December 31st. You'll also be entered to win a vacation for two to Manila or incredible weekly prizes when you connect and win with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing. I love you, Daddy. How's your hearing?
There is that familiar signature sound that says we're moving into a traffic position here on the radio station, but there doesn't seem to be any traffic to talk about right now. We got a little bit of traffic headed northbound up in Dededo, just to as you get to Waiseng Song, and then it will clear up. A little bit of traffic southbound on Marine Corps Drive just before you get to the intersection of 1 and 3, but it's clear all the way through there until you get to around Kmart and the JFK intersection that we've got up here. Might see a little bit of traffic over by the Ocean Vista 76 up between Route 16 and Route 10, but it looks like just a bunch of cars lined up at the intersection. Maybe that late taking just a little bit longer than normal. You might also see some traffic building in the downtown Hagåtña area from about where the Bank of Guam is towards the Kipuha Loop and then around the loop, and that might just be a bunch of cars slowing down because there's a girl in pretty shorts that's doing some morning jogging or something like that. That might be just as simple as that. Not necessarily slowing down, just building up. 637, that's right now traffic here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. On demand at thepoint.gu.
It's 6:38 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show on and underway. You haven't missed a whole lot. I mean, the only thing that we've done so far is just played bits of and pieces of audio that I got from the legislative website, their YouTube site, yesterday, and the topic of which was a conversation about moving a piece of legislation forward that would provide the correct language, or language that we believe to be correct, that would ensure that the government of Guam would be able, and the Department of Revenue and Taxation would be able to collect about $8 million in an increased real property taxes that were authorized in the last budget bill. So it looked like Senator Addo was trying to get that onto the legislative agenda yesterday, and ran into issues that were brought up by Fernando Estevez. And I'm not sure how I want to look at this. I mean, is this a response that Fernando has because there was no public hearing on this legislation, or is it a response because he had tried to put a measure on the agenda that had not come out of the Rules Committee, and that was declined by the body as well? So I'm wondering if this is a little bit of tit for tat, or whether he's really standing on the principle that this really urgently needed to have a public hearing. Tom Dahama Adda on the line with me. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
What are your thoughts? I mean, why do you think that Fernando was so obsessive about his not wanting to move forward with this because it did not have a public hearing?
I don't know. I'm not going to try and read his mind. But you know, he objected to my motion, and the end result is that I couldn't get the 8 votes that was needed to get the bill on the agenda. Now, I would like to explain, you know, the reason for the move that I made. One, of course, was the issue that if we don't correct the language, the revenue that normally would go into the Territorial Education Facility Fund will come up short by $8 million. So we certainly needed to correct that. I've always believed, you know, you've got to try whatever options might be available to you. And yesterday I took the option of trying to justify getting it on the agenda, the bill on the agenda, which basically what the bill does is it adds the word or more to the language of the law. And I tried to justify that, you know, we discussed this matter fully during the session and during public hearings. Generally, the concept was discussed also. And so, you know, I made that attempt, knowing that there was a chance that it might, you know, it wouldn't get on. But so I took it, and it failed. No problem. We do have a.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No problem. It's Government of Guam. The budget bill was balanced on that and other measures that were applied to it, and so that's $8 million that the 35th Guam legislature and the incoming Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration are going to have to find cover for.
Well, I understand, but when I said no problem, I mean that wasn't the final option that was available to correct this. We do have a public hearing scheduled already for December 10th, and we will go through, you know, that procedure as required by the standing rules to do a public hearing on the bill. To make the correction to the law, which says that we will tax improvements on real property that are $1 million or more. And we kind of, you know, so I guess the Appropriations Committee tried to anticipate what might be the AG's opinion if we went ahead and we had introduced the bill in the event that the AG came back and said, no, the way the law reads is the way it will be implemented. And if they had come back and said, well, no, we understand the intent, then, so you just have to keep moving and trying to move this thing forward. But I'm confident that we will be able to correct it so that, we're not going to come up that big of a short on the territorial education facilities.
There's a couple of questions. One of them is the tax rolls have eventually got to come out. And does not rev and tax have to go back and get a determination on what the properties are and issue notice to the holders of those properties that their taxes are going to increase?
Yeah, well, I know that there was I believe there was a letter that did go out to the governor asking him to, kind of hold back on issuing out the tax rolls
until the assessments had been made.
Correct, yeah. And so we're, at least from the legislature side, from the Appropriations Committee's standpoint, we're trying to move as fast as we can. There's rules and procedures that we need to follow, and so we're moving forward. We recognize the problem at hand. We're moving as fast as we can. Others don't see it.
I was going to say, Ken Leon Guerrero online this morning says the governor pointed out that flaw back in August. You've had since August to hold a hearing on the bill. Why wait until the last minute?
Well, I don't know. We are where we are today. So whatever the reasons were, it doesn't matter now. We're just going to have to do our public hearing next week on December 10th, and to move this thing forward. Now, the legislature will be going into session. The speaker plans to call, and her call should be issued today to go back into session on December 10th. So right after that session on that day, we're going to have a public hearing that evening, and we'll just work through the night to get the bill reported out and try and get it on the session agenda for that week.
Could not the governor, understanding that this would create an $8 million shortfall in the budget for this upcoming fiscal year, he's made a big point about wanting to lubricate the process and make it as easy as possible for an incoming administration. Could he not call an emergency session of the legislature to close this loophole?
Yeah, I guess he could do that, but I know that in reading the AG's opinion, they cited a number of cases where, in the case of tax matters, the law, I guess the law tends to be, they interpret the law very strictly, for the government, and probably a little bit more liberally towards the taxpayers. So again, whatever the arguments are on the legal side of the House, they're basically saying, yeah, it may seem absurd that those properties that are a penny over $1 million will not be this tax increase will not be applicable to them. That may seem somewhat absurd, but I guess there's case law to support that you gotta interpret it strictly.
I'm curious about what your feelings are with this Black Friday holiday that we had last week. and how that jives with what we have been told all year long, and in fact the urgency to move forward on this tax hike for these real properties valued at over $1 million is we were told that times were hard, we haven't got any money, yet we've managed to allow for about $1 million worth of spend from the taxpayers to government of Guam employees.
I don't know.
It sounds contradictory, does it not?
Well, yeah, it does. But I mean, you know, I guess it remains to be seen by giving people off that day. Did it? You know, was there a positive injection into the economy? That remains to be seen. I
don't even know who looks at that kind of thing. I mean, I always hear that, well, you know, everybody was out going shopping and doing all of this other stuff on Black Friday, and I don't know about that. I was here working, so I didn't get a whole lot of time to get out and do any kind of shopping, and I think that might have been the case with most of the people that I know. So I couldn't tell you whether there is a significant upside, and as far as I know, I've never seen any evidence from the Department of Revenue and Taxation and their receipts that would indicate that if we had a GovGuam holiday that we would make that much additional monies in BPT.
Well, you know, it was the governor's prerogative to declare that day a holiday, and he did. And so
I know. I'm just saying. In the face of we're broke, we don't have any cash. But hey, look, we got some money that we can give away for employees that don't have to come to work. We'll pay them, and for the ones that do, we'll pay them double time. That's just where I am. So you're in recess until 4:00 this afternoon. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We come back in, and we'll be voting on, I believe, 16 bills and voting on the for an override on Bill 28.
All right, I know you're really interested in that part. Now, I'm just curious as to why we couldn't get in any earlier. What's going on over at the legislature that is preventing people from coming in at 4? Is there that much that needs to be done by your legal and the clerks?
Yeah. So the legal counsel and the clerk's office, they go through the process of engrossing the bills, making sure that, you know, all the amendments that were made on the floor are duly noted in the bills, and you know, it's just that last minute going over to make sure that the bills are in order.
Okay. All right. It's just you know how I am. I always worry when the legislature is going into session late in the day, and what could end up being some interesting midnight conversation when everybody's gone to sleep or otherwise not paying any attention.
No, I don't think that would be the case.
Don't think there's anything thorny. Don't think there'll be any other attempts by anybody to force interesting initiatives on the agenda.
No, there won't be.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. Keep an eye out for me, would you? The rest of the taxpayers.
Okay.
All right, and so can I ask you to switch hats, just real quick?
Probably not.
No, I'm going to do it anyway. How's the transition coming along, Senator?
Well, you know, letters were sent out earlier, I believe late last week, to various departments, you know, requesting certain information. And then I believe the deadlines, at least for the infrastructure and transportation agencies, we've asked that the information being requested be provided by close of business on Monday, the 3rd, and then we'll have a chance to take a look at that. There's already been meetings. There's the face-to-face meetings have been scheduled for next week with DPW, the port, the airport, and GRTA, and there's still several more that we need to set up just to sit down and do that face-to-face about, you know, what are some of the low-hanging fruits out there that we should be going after? What sort of federal grant opportunities are available out there that we should be aware of? Do we have any liabilities that we should be aware of? And those kind of issues. So, and then also, you know, meeting who's who in the agencies that certainly will be working closely with the new administration.
Right. It should be fairly easy for you. You've been working hand in glove with many of these people over the course of your career at the legislature. And can you put a rumor to rest? Will you be going? Well, I just got to ask, right? I mean, I got you on the phone. Are you going to the port or the airport? Did you like the way I asked that, Kevin? So he's got to give me an answer one way or the other. Are you going to the port or the airport? Don't help.
Well, there's been discussions, but nothing firm.
What's your preference? Because I know you've been keeping an eye on things that have been going on over at the port over the last bunch of the years, but the airport thing probably has a little bit more travel.
Well, Ray, let me put it this way. There's going to be a lot of positions for directors that's going to be open up, and the new administration has opened up a website where everybody can put in, where everybody can submit their letters of interest and their resumes. And I think that until those, until that application period is closed, I think it's only fair that we really wait until those comes in. The administration has had a chance to vet them and select the best one. I would think I would be qualified for, one of those jobs, but there may be somebody else that may be even more qualified. So I think we should leave it open before final decisions are made.
So a very classy way to put it. There might be other people better than you that might be able to do a better job than you over at the port or the airport. So folks, don't disqualify yourself just because you've heard rumors that Tom's already got the job.
Yes.
Okay. So one more thorny question for you before I let you go.
Yes.
Who do you want to be the next Speaker of the Legislature?
Oh, no, I'm not going to.
Tommy. See, now I was wondering where the legislative 10-foot pole's got. Who's got the legislative 10-foot pole? Today it's Tom. Senator Atta, thanks again for your time. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Good luck in session tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
888-8255-888-TALK. It's Friday. You're allowed to be a little bit frisky on Friday. That's the next one. Did you see how he was ready to talk about anything? But when it came to the potential girl fight that is lining up over at the legislature, and now we're in a three-way fight now, aren't we? Is that my understanding? I know that Therese Terlai has expressed a desire to become the next speaker officially the next speaker of the legislature. But Tina Munya Barnes got a number of years in the legislative business. Is kind of looking at that job, saying, I could do that job. I could totally do that job. And what about Telena? And an interesting point that Senator Klitsky brought up yesterday is you take a look at the body of the legislature. You take a look at the 15 people that have been put into the legislature. A number of them are this term freshman senators. And we've got a number of freshman senators that are coming in. So, when it comes to seniority over at the legislature, seniority might only mean one session. And that is kind of interesting. We'll talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. 888-825-588-TALK. Lady D says, more double talk. Of course. Chalerna Laron, nice to see you there. Nice to see you at the volleyball game last night. I see Jeff Pleadwell is up and goofing off this morning. Joseph Leasialangi is on. Ed Areola. I didn't get an answer to the question, Ed. I see you there. How is Saipan? You're my connection with Saipan and the Fiesta and all of that other stuff when I can't get hold of Brad, so let me know what's going on. I see Keith Parsky is there. He says, I do like Ray's beard. He does look like Keaton, but better. Which Keaton are we talking about here? Ray, you look like Stephen Keaton, the father in the TV show Family Ties. Alfredo Mendoza says, keep the beard. You know what? I'm gonna keep it. The only problem is I'm still at that stage, and I'm almost wanting to ask the guys, what is it that I got to put on my face? Because I'm still in the itchies.
Yeah, one thing you need to do is get a soft brush, and it sounds silly, but just spend a few minutes periodically brushing it. Yeah, just like that. But you need a softer one. You need one of the You need
like a brush, like a toothbrush,
well,
almost.
kind of. But that size is perfect, and you can just kind of brush it. You want to train it. It has to be trained.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you don't train it, it'll just go everywhere.
Yeah.
So you got to train it. And another thing you have to do is pretty soon you have to settle on just what kind of beard you want. Do you want to go with the full beard like you're going there, or do you want to go with something a little more manicured?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost don't want to say. Because if I say that, people will just spit the coffee out their nose. So I'm not going to say I'm going for a Clooney thing.
Oh, okay.
Just because get that idea out of your head. Got a note here. Thank the Guam National Guard for cleaning the road between Guam Main Facility and Barragata Heights. That's their adopted roadway, and frankly, it's an extension of their home over at the Garden Readiness Unit. So yeah, it's always nice to see them out there. I want to say that they're also going to be doing an early morning run in recognition and in honor of a fallen hero tomorrow. Maybe we can get a hold of Major Joe Bloss in a little bit and find out more about that plan, exactly what the route is going to be and what time they're going to be doing it. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on the road tomorrow anyway. We've got the Plumeria run at the Guam Running Club's Plumeria 5 and 10K. That's going to be lighting off from over at the Hulali, as I understand it, and I'll see if I can get some other details on that. Have you decided which race you're going to be running? I did not, and I'll tell you, it's purely ego-driven decision. For the last 3 weeks, I've been marking down some PRs in the 5Ks, and I'm not sure I can do it again this weekend. So I think I might go for a little bit easier, a PR in the 10K. Maybe I'll do something along those lines. Hey, we're closing in on 7 o'clock in the morning already. Lots of items on the table of contents here. As we said, there's a little bit of a drama over at the legislature. If you missed it, I have the audio. I've got the video, and we're gonna. But we need to come up with some different music than the ones that you did. I don't know. It didn't feel like it matched. I don't know. The Benny Hill and the circus thing, the Calliope. I think we need to reserve that for other things where it really is a circus. But it was fun. Maybe the Rocky theme. You know, maybe something from a boxing deal that you can play on your side while I'm playing it on my side. Anyway, 7 o'clock in the morning. Coming up, we've got Fox News Live. And great news with what's happening in West Texas crude. Not quite what they said it was in the Wall Street Journal this morning. They said it slipped under $50 worth of trading, but finally ended up around $51.49. But it's still nice to see that the numbers keep hovering in those low 50s. That's always nice. Ed writing, the recovery efforts are moving quickly and efficiently. Thank you to everyone in Guam for your generosity and support. Have a good day, Ray. No, Ed, thanks very much for your report this morning. 7 o'clock, KUSG Agana. Here's Fox News.
Standing his ground, Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump insisting yet again he's done nothing wrong after his former attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty today to lying to a Senate committee in the Russia probe. The president says Cohen is lying now.
He's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. So he's lying about a project that everybody knew about.
At issue, the timing of talks on building a possible Trump Tower in Moscow. Cohen had said the talks ended in January of 2016. He now says they continued until June. The president speaking to reporters just before heading to Argentina for the G20 summit. And a short time later, he tweeted that a planned meeting with Russia's president was being canceled over the seizing of Ukrainian ships near Crimea last weekend.
The president had said earlier in the week that he was thinking about canceling it because of the Russian aggression in Ukraine, but hadn't made a final decision. Then he'd barely been aboard Air Force One for but a few minutes when he made it official with that tweet, which read, quote, based on the fact that ships and sailors have not been returned to Ukraine from Russia, I have decided it would be best for all parties concerned to cancel my previously scheduled meeting in Argentina with President Vladimir Putin. I look forward to a meaningful summit again as soon as this situation is resolved.
Fox's John Roberts in Buenos Aires. The White House says the president made the decision on the plane after a detailed report and briefing on Russia's actions. Some breaking news about the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, also en route to the G20. A German news agency is reporting that her plane had to turn around about an hour into the flight. It turned around over the Netherlands after developing some kind of technical issue, sending out a signal that could indicate possible radio failure. It landed safely in Cologne in western Germany. They're getting a replacement German Air Force plane to carry Merkel and her entourage on to the G20. This is Fox News.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice. Honest opinion.
The goal, at least for many of the thousands of migrants near the U.S.-Mexico border, remains to get over the border into the U.S.
A group of migrants said they were planning to begin marching as of now to head to an area of the San Ysidro port of entry to protest and begin a hunger strike. They say they have the right to enter the U.S. Sunday, a group of Central American migrants from this caravan in Tijuana had also marched, and some tried to breach border fencing into the U.S. That's when border agents deployed tear gas. Homeland Security has since issued a statement saying many of these migrants want family reunification or jobs, and that does not qualify them for asylum, adding that only 9% of initial asylum petitioners from Central America are found eligible for asylum by a judge. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Meantime, the Associated Press reporting from a U.S. official that no criminal charges are being filed in relation to 42 arrests made after the confrontation that involved tear gas and a group of migrants last weekend. A possible breakthrough for negotiators in Congress on a farm bill.
Top House and Senate Agriculture Committee members say there is an agreement in principle on a 2018 farm bill, but no text or legal language was released, and negotiators are still waiting on budget impact figures. The latest farm bill passed in 2014. It expired earlier this year as House and Senate committee members hammered out differences. The farm bill covers crop subsidies and commodity prices, as well as the food stamp program. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
After fluctuating all day, stocks finished lower. The Dow down 27 points at the closing bell. Only about an hour to the close, it had been up in triple digits, turning higher then after minutes from the latest Fed meeting, reinforcing what the Fed chair said yesterday about a cautious approach on the pace of interest rate hikes. But again, at the bell, stocks finish lower. Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites: AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Welcome to the annual holiday swap. Harold, you first.
Oh, it's a Subway card.
Wow.
Nice. Sharon?
I'm going to take the Subway card.
Oh, Harold, now you can choose a new gift.
I think I'll just take that Subway card right back.
I don't think you can do that, Harold.
Stuff it, Glenn. This is between me and Sharon.
A Subway card is the gotta-have-it gift. With cards from $5 up to any amount, you'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Get a free 40-ounce fountain drink with a $20 load, or get a free regular 6-inch sub with a $30 load on any Subway card. Subway, make it what you want at participating restaurants.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guahan Academy Charter School asking to use Guam DOE's Building E in Tidzin because they need additional classroom space and parking spots. Former Legislative Speaker Judy Wanpat is the school's chief academic officer. She told the Guam Daily Post that she sent the request to use the building to Superintendent John Fernandez back in August when Building E was vacant. Months went by, however, without a firm answer until last week when a letter went out from the governor to Superintendent Fernandez advising him that the building should be vacated to make room for GACs. But now the building is occupied. It's being used for special needs students, and the Superintendent Fernandez believes there's a misunderstanding. The governor's education liaison, Vince Leon Guerrero, has been called into the squabble. He'll try and work it out. He's asked to schedule a site visit today to Building E and other Guam DOE facilities to try and find room for Guahan Academy. Federal government made its case against the Chamorro Land Trust Act in district court yesterday. Throughout the hearing, senior U.S. District Court Judge Susan Oki-Mulway questioned the claim that the act is race-based. Judge Mulway suggested alternative language that might eliminate references to race. She wondered aloud whether she should postpone her decision, and she ended up concluding by suggesting to both parties that they explore the possibility of holding a settlement conference if they thought it would be fruitful. As Justice Department Attorney Catherine Legomsky presented her argument that the Land Trust Act was race-based discrimination because it makes land available only to native Chamorros, the judge asked whether there was a way to change the language and take out all references to Chamorros. Judge also asked whether the Chamorro Land Trust Act might be viewed as an act to compensate a class of people who suffered a loss rather than a benefit for a specific racial group. During his presentation, Deputy Attorney General Ken Orcutt said the biggest fallacy with the government's case against the Chamorro Land Trust Act is that it is race-based. He said it simply is not. It is political. Orcutt said the Organic Act created a political, not a racial class of people. Judge Mulway took the arguments under advisement. A decision is expected at a later time. We'll have more news after this.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times, or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 7 a.m. An effort to place an emergency bill on the session agenda yesterday failed after a heated debate that took up the entire morning session. Although the measure has not yet had a public hearing, Senator Tom Atta urged immediate consideration of the bill to avoid an $8 million deficit in the current fiscal year budget. His Bill 374 would amend the property tax increase that is part of the 2019 budget law by adding just 2 words. Those words are, or more. The addition was necessary in the wake of an Attorney General opinion issued on Tuesday That opinion was requested by Revenue Tax Director John Camacho, who sought clarification on which properties the tax increase would apply to, because the wording in the current law says the tax applies to improvements on property with a value of just $1 million. In the absence of the words "or more," Camacho said taxpayers might contest the tax if it's imposed on properties that have a value of more than $1 million. The Attorney General concluded that that's what the current law says. The new tax would only apply to properties valued at exactly $1 million, no more and no less. The result, argued Senator Adda yesterday, would be an unexpected loss of $8 million that poses a threat to the health and safety of the people of Guam, thus an emergency. He asked for the hearing requirement for legislation to be waived, but Senator Fernando Estevez objected, saying the legislature has consistently maintained that bills that have not been publicly heard cannot be deliberated. Fellow lawmakers agreed, and Senator Adda's effort to get that bill on the agenda this week failed. Lawmakers will resume session this afternoon at 4 o'clock to vote on the bills that they move to the voting file this week. OSHA officials have referred all questions about Sunday's job site fatality to their spokesman in San Francisco, who's yet to respond to requests for comment. The federal agency has not released any details about the incident or identify the victim's employer. J. Daryl Wasisong died after being struck by a backhoe Sunday at a work site along Palomar Street off Route 15 in Manila. Guam Fire Department spokesman Kevin Riley confirming that GFD medics responded to the emergency call at that location Sunday afternoon. He said the worker had been spotting for the backhoe operator who was digging a hole when the worker was apparently struck by the backhoe bucket. When medics arrived, they found the man unconscious and unresponsive. Wasisong was taken to Guam Memorial Hospital, where he later died. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
Looking over at the forecast for today, calls for clouds increasing with mostly cloudy skies expected over the weekend. Isolated showers are possible, becoming scattered tonight through Saturday. Expect northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour. Highs 89 degrees. There is going to be a heat index today, so it'll feel like 101 later on. But that ought to cool off over the weekend. Overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight. I love this 5:51. I love it going down early. I just got to get used to the idea that it's getting dark earlier. Sunrise at 6:27 in the morning. We can take a look at the radar imagery and see if there's anything there that is remarkable for Mike.
Yeah, a lot of stuff down to our southeast. Wow, look at that blavage down there. Lucky we dodged that bullet. But there is a chance of enhanced shower activity through the next, say, 36 to 48 hours as the remnants of 93W Invest slide on through in the form of a very weak trough. No chances for development of the system, but they always bring rain, and that's what we can expect for the next couple of days. And then probably by Sunday, things will start to clear out a little bit, but it's not going to go full dry trade wind clear out. It's just going to dry out a little bit, but we're going to stay kind of cloudy for the next few days as the atmosphere starts to kind of figure out what it wants to do, which in this case is start to trend towards the dry season. But we'll have to wait maybe another week or so before we actually get real
You graduated
dry
from
weather.
college, move out. That's what you need to do here.
Right.
Hey, man, I can't support you for the rest of your life. It's 7:15 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Calvo Select Care continues providing great benefits for federal employees and annuitants, a wide choice of medical providers on and off island, an expanded local network of urgent and emergency care providers, free access to our gym partners. Save on your purchases with our Calvo's Lifestyle Club partners. With all these great benefits, enrolling with Calvo Select Care is that much easier. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
Gym membership and Calvo's Lifestyle Club are non-FEHB benefits.
Zany, madcap, kooky, crazy holiday menu going on at King's, and they've got a crazy breakfast. And one of the items, this in my mind, you're going, wow, let's do this: a tender grilled 14-ounce choice ribeye steak, cooked to your liking, served with 2 eggs any way you want them, plus hash browns. What a great way to do breakfast. That's why they call it the crazy breakfast menu. Ribeye and eggs at King's.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Right, portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with, yes, Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better choice, a better time to go solar. Speaking of choice, Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. It's Friday. I've been ad-libbing this stuff for a whole week, guys. American President Lines, they're shipping the future in American water tech, smarter water, better water.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walked in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Actually, Yuka's on the Facebook Live right now, so if you've got questions about Guahan Insurance and some of the other stuff they do over there, just type it to her, and she'll be able to answer it for you. 7:18 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience. Taking adventure in ice cream to a whole other level. I mean, the idea a couple of years ago, you could go to Cold Stone and get an ice cream cake, and everybody said, wow, really, ice cream cake? For real? Ice cream, and then we've got cake, and then we ice cream, and then cake. Yeah, and now they've got these pie scream cakes. So you've got pie, ice cream, and cake happening at once. The Ghirardelli sea salt caramel ice cream, along with a yellow cake on the graham crackers. You've got to try it.
That's illegal in some states.
I know, I recognize that, and that's why they're doing it here in an attempt. Once people figure out how good it is, then they'll take this to some of these other states and have them, liberalize the process, as many have done with marijuana. Just saying.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I'm burned again on Facebook. God. I may just stop adding friends. So Gabriel Lombard, right, Doc? Was on my feed this morning. He's like, hey, be my friend, be my friend. So I clicked on it. I said, confirm. Yes, we are friends. And now what have I got? I got, hello, how are you doing? A sure sign. Hold on, let me just type in.
And one mistake many people make is they think that their account has been hacked. That's not what's happening. People are going into accounts that allow the general public to access their pictures and things. They're taking out a photo of the person who holds the account, and then they're making a fake account using their name, because Facebook does allow that, because there cannot possibly be only one Ray Gibson in all the earth. So another Ray Gibson is on the Facebook somewhere, and so they do that. They just repeat the names and then pretend to be someone they're not.
That sucks. Yeah, all right. So normally my answer is something along the lines of, I can't talk right now, I'm deep in prayer. But my response today is going to be a little bit friskier. Hello, how are you doing? Having a hard time disposing of the body. Can you help? Do you think that'll throw him off the tracks here? Do you think that it'll throw this imposter Gabe Lombard off of my tracks? It's possible. Then there's this the other reason, and I'm not going to say no to these. I'm just going to say I'm not forwarding it. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. My friend Javier at the league sent me a thing. Says, I hope that I'm the first person to put a Christmas, as in Christ, Christmas tree on your phone. If luck is a raindrop, I'd send you a shower. If hope is a minute, I'd send you an hour. If happiness is a leaf, I'd give you a tree. And if you need a friend, you'll always have me. Aw, Javier. See, now I feel bad that I didn't vote for you. Hey, Mangatsung. I'm just kidding. I voted for you. But now we'll never know, will we? But finally, this. I forgot to play it early this morning because I was deep into a different kind of friskiness. But for those of you that are just coming to the radio, coming to your quorum space here on the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3, and I don't even know who's this from. It's a familiar voice, and I just like the sound of it. So let me just play this again to get you motivated to enjoy a fantastic Friday here.
Hello. Off a day and good morning, people. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Rise and shine. Stretch. What the day has in store for you is the present. So be thankful for that present. Because it's not about the gift. It's about the thought. Remember, every day may not be a good day, but there's something good in every day. So make the best out of today and tomorrow and the next and the next. Most importantly for today, smile. Even if you're Dolphy, smile. Because that simple smile can change someone's day. Now, let's have an awesome day. Have a good day, people.
He's exactly right, because every time I smile at people, they just laugh.
Just looking at it. What do you suppose is going to be the best part of the day? I mean, I'll preface this by saying the first hour of the program was awesome.
It was nice.
That was. I mean, if nothing else, I'll be able to say that first hour of the day was great and move forward. In fact, since the second I went to sleep last night, it was great. So I've already had myself a really, really good Friday. It's barely 7 o'clock in the morning. So and imagine what the rest of the day has in store for me. So I'm already ahead here. I'm looking at things. I'm green. Unlike the markets today, you might have heard the lady on Fox News talking about how the markets are down. They're not down by big numbers here. The S&P 500 only lost about 6 points, 27.37. The Nasdaq at 72.73, only down by about 18 points. And 18.5 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average a little bit bigger, but because they're massive, it's nothingth of a percent. They're off by 27.5 points to close at 25,338. And I'm sure that somewhere on the web is someplace that will tell me why those numbers are not all green today. Did Trump not have a fantastic day? Is that what happened? FTSE's up, Nikkei is up, Hang Seng down, Shanghai down, and the DAX is off. But like I said, just about everybody down, but not by big numbers. I think the biggest loser here today is the Hang Seng Index. Actually, yesterday, 26,451. They're up by 231 points. West Texas crude, $51.42. That compares unfavorably to where it was yesterday, 51.42. Yesterday, it was 50.47, and they were reporting on Wall Street Journal that for a while it was trading at like 49 and change, under $50 for the first time since October of last year. And that is a repeat. You heard me tell you that yesterday as we were looking at some of the numbers. Tampa's crude, $63.55. That's up by, I don't know, but $1.25 from where it was yesterday, 62.23. So it doesn't look like there's going to be a massive rush to go out there and change the numbers over at the pump based on a 1 or 2 day trend. But it's still good news. Taking a look at the oil chart headlines. Where did I have that? No, I'm going to miss it. There's obviously a lot of oil out in the world, and people are going to start talking about holding back on production, including the Russians. So they're going to want to try to turn all of the valves on the oil-producing countries down to just a trickle here, so that the supply goes down and the demand will obviously go up. So watch out for that here happening in just a little bit. It has nothing to do with whether there's oil underground, whether we've hit peak oil or anything like that. It all has to do with artificial manipulation of the prices, and I think that's something that we've gotten used to over the years. But there is this story on oilprices.com that I'm in love with, and it's about flying cars. Now, you might be going, oh, that's George Jetson stuff, Gib. We're not going to get around to having flying cars around here. We barely have our handle on automated automobiles and driverless kind of driving. And they've kind of not put a stop on that, but they're kind of slowing down on the process since that woman was killed about 3 months back. You'll recall. But a story: flying cars coming much sooner than you'd think. They were thought to be going to be as far away as 4 years, but actually commercial models are coming up sooner than what had been thought. Air taxi startup Kitty Hawk already has FAA approval to test its prototype in uncongested areas. Boeing Air taxi prototypes are in the works, and the company expects to fly them within 1 year. German startup Volocopter is planning tests in Singapore next year. Audi and Airbus are testing out a trial run that will soon convert over to a flying car taxi service. It's coming because it has to, said Robert Leinberger, the leader of Deloitte's aerospace and defense industry practice, over speculation on why major companies are investing heavily in the technology. Quote, "We have no more room on the ground to move cars around, so we're going to be taking to the skies." Doesn't that sound adventurous? We'll be taking to the skies.
Like it sounds scary.
I love the story because I came up with George Jetson.
Sure.
We were supposed to be living in cities underwater.
We were supposed to already have flying cars.
By now.
Right? We really thought we would.
It's already out there in the future, meals and pills, that kind of thing. Yeah. So all of these things that they told us we were going to have, which we kind of sort of looped around, found loopholes to getting into. Now they're talking about this. Now there is, you're right, it does sound scary. As I ponder the idea and recall just driving on Guam streets.
Yeah.
Can you imagine some of the guys that are out there right now driving around in flying cars? How are we going to do that? Yep. And what's the parking going to be like? Yeah. Just because you got a flying car, where are you going to park it now? Yesterday, as a example, I wanted to go and eat at Ajisen Ramen, so I did. And as you might guess, with all of the Christmas shopping activity going on, and all of the Korean drivers that are renting cars, and people just being out on a Thursday night, there wasn't a whole lot of parking there. So what am I supposed to just hover? Is that the way it's going to work? And what's it going to cost? What's a gallon of gas? $4.32 now for a gallon of gasoline.
Yep.
How much additional? Are we going to use a special kind of gas, or is it still going to be regular gasoline that goes in it? But how much are you going to need to have in your flying airplane?
I would tend to think that these flying cars are going to be electric. And it's going to be all based on drone technology set on a larger scale. And so probably they'll fix out the fuel and things, but until they work out the automated functions, it just won't happen. You cannot have people in control of flying cars. There has to be automation where they just get in, it starts up, it goes where
and you just tell it where you want it to go, and then it will go and find its own parking out there somewhere. Sonny Cruz saying the ramen shop next to the old Fukai store is unbeatable. Well, they were closed last night. That's where I went first, buddy. Thanks for checking on me. 7:29 in the morning, and we still got time for Jerry Roberts to do the extra point before we get into the headlines. Yes, we do. Well, we don't.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's running late. Yeah,
today.
There's not a recorded one. He's going to do it live this morning, but he hit a little snag on the way in this morning. Said he'd come in and have it done by the bottom of the hour.
Oh, you should have took the fly-in car, Jer. It's 7:30 in the morning. Headlines with Kevin Kerrigan next.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Ruby Tuesday. Buy a $25 or $50 gift card for those on your shopping list. Get a $15 bonus coupon with every $50 card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Ruby Tuesday. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Get a free medium pizza with every $25 gift card purchase and a free extra large pizza with every $50 gift card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
On your Facebook Live, YouTube Live, thepoint.gu live screen is artist rendering of the world's first flying car, the Terrafugi, I think is the name of the TF-X. And as I said, computer simulation here of what it is. I guess it's a car, 4-seat hybrid. Okay, so yes, on the electric and the gas part. With wings, and now it's driven off the road, no runway needed. It's going to stop, and it's going to pop out some wings, right? And that's the way it's going to be. So that's the version of the flying cars that we're going to be talking about. So they will be able to go on the roadway, park in a driveway, park maybe at I don't know. It looks too wide already for the Dusitani.
And this is a nice concept here. I just don't think this is going to be practical in terms of size and things. I really do think that these cars are going to go more on the 4-prop drone technology that's really been growing by leaps and bounds over the last 10 years or so.
It just sounds like it'd be more stable.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this thing with wings and all that, with the four-prop drones, you don't need wings because you control your pitch, yaw, and everything with the actual props. So it's a nice idea. It looks cool, but I think this is close, but not quite where we're going to be. But hey, I don't know it all.
It's 7:32 in the morning, and how boring a show would it be if we knew it all? All right, time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: a former altar boy's encounter with a priest when he was 12 has scarred him for life, according to the latest lawsuit filed against the Archdiocese of Agana in the Superior Court of Guam. There are now nearly 200 lawsuits filed against the Archdiocese, which has filed for bankruptcy protection in the face of more than $500 million in damage claims. In this latest civil complaint, an individual referred to as Andy alleges he was sexually molested by the now deceased Raymond Cepeda, a priest who served as a Catholic priest under the Archdiocese until he was removed in 2009. The lawsuit seeking $5 million in damages. A 42-year-old man is behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a woman known to him on several occasions while she was handcuffed to a chair. Frankie Leon Guerrero Santos Jr., arrested by police after the victim, a 35-year-old woman, reported that Santos came into her home while she was sleeping, woke her up, and began to strangle her. When the woman's cell phone rang, she was fortunately able to inform the caller of what was going on. The caller notified police. Santos was arrested. Santos now facing allegations of criminal sexual conduct, family violence, and unlawful restraint. In district court yesterday, Chief Judge Francis Tedinko Gatewood sentencing Alfred Mallet Jr. to 7 years in federal prison for his role in a scheme to bring 345 grams of meth into Guam. The street value of that amount estimated to be about $275,000. The 37-year-old Mallet wiped tears from his eyes during the sentencing. He apologized to his family and the people of Guam and said he takes full responsibility for the crime. Mallet's defense attorney, Gloria Rudolph, asked for a reduced sentence, saying Mallet had only minimal participation in the crime, but Judge Gatewood wasn't buying it. Mallet admitted to knowing the package contained meth and tracking its arrival and delivery on his cell phone, and the judge concluded that showed he was heavily involved in the crime. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Okay, good deal. Swing by iConnect and find out about a great giveaway that they've launched right now that could get you, number one, some great service, a 12-month service on internet and push-to-talk and mobile plans. But just signing up for those 12-month plans automatically make you eligible for an instant prize, weekly prizes, and then we've got a grand prize drawing where you and a friend are going to be going to Manila, which is a town in the Philippines that I hear lots of people talking about all the time. So sign up. You want details? iConnectGuam.com.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing. I love you, Daddy. How's your hearing?
Let's see if I can scare up some traffic here this morning. As usual, on Route 10, snuggling up to the intersection of Route 15. Got a little bit of traffic here. Just a bunch of people at what I consider to be among the dumbest intersections on the island. You never know with that intersection whether it's going to let 1 or 2 or 10 cars through. Marine Corps Drive looks fairly smooth in most of the usual spots here. A little bit of a buildup as you get into Waisangsong area, and then it clears up, and then it busies up again as you get a little bit closer to the intersection of 1 and 3. That's looking so far so good. No major congestion at that intersection, but it looks like there's a little bit of traffic slowing down right behind it. And then you get onto Marine Corps Drive headed southbound, and that's looking clear except in the usual spots in front of the Santos Hill on your way past Infusion and towards St. John's. Once you pass St. John's, should be clear sailing. Route 8 into Agana, no problem. Don't see anything happening there. Might see a little bit of a slowdown as traffic is beginning to build around the McMobile intersection. It's still a little bit of traffic on Route 4 leading towards the Paseo. Don't see anything in front of Navy Hospital. Don't see anything in front of Sumai. Looking good. Drive this morning.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K. Take it easy. Be your own barista at Circle K. Create your perfect beverage with our large selection of premium coffees, sweeteners, and creamers, including 2% almond milk and soy milk. Circle K. Take it easy.
I got some of my favorite people on the Facebook Live. Darius Cook Jr.'s there. I got Dennis Bensour says no insurance company would cover that. We're talking about electric cars just because it's fun. Debbie Maury Bertullian is online. Brad Hewitt says, I think I'll pass on the flying boat. Ed Massey says it's cheaper to drive based on Brad Hokinson's point that avgas is now about $8 a gallon here on Guam. So you get flying cars depending on what kind of technology, what kind of internal combustion and hybrids they're going to be using, could actually be a little bit more pricey to get around on that. Nice to see Sonny and Ed Massey there, Melina Montanonia, Debbie Canata, Jimmy Moylan, Frank Blas Jr. I see you there, Ed and Karen Antalan. Joey Santamarina is rolling around this morning. And there's Tina Rose Munya Barnes, who chimed in a short time after I started talking about the possibilities that she might be among those selected for the next speaker position over at the legislature. There's a conversation. There is a conversation going on about who is going to be getting that job, who's going to be taking on the role. We know that Therese Terlahi has expressed an interest in it. I thought Talena might be lined up for it, but I was thinking about it. Just in terms of experience over at the legislature, and I was looking at I'm going to call this up here in just a second. You might hear Jerry Roberts shuffling some papers around. Nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to see if I could. Is it there? I wanted to take a look at the top list, the top 15 vote getters in the senatorial election here, and help guide the body here on who it ought to be that gets the nod to be among those considered for Speaker of the Legislature.
Okay.
And so what would your criteria be for somebody to be the Speaker there, Jer?
Presents themselves well on camera. No?
No.
No, come on.
No. Oh, my God. They were doing it. I was watching them yesterday. I was watching them on the legislature channel yesterday, and they were doing that. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this measure. And I vomit every time I hear that. I just go, oh, my God, can you just say, Mr. Speaker, I support this. It's nice, good piece of legislation. Jerry did a good job writing it up, and this ought to be a law. But no, we've got to talk in those high soaring, pretend to be in Washington, D.C. voices. I rise in support of this.
It's so funny because when I came to Guam, I think it was like the 8th Guam legislature or something like that, and that's exactly what you got when it was 21 people.
No. You know what it would be like if I were in there? It'd be like, hey, I'm cool with that, man.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, that's how it used to be.
You don't even have to stand up. Just thumbs up. Yeah,
thumbs up, bro. Or shaka, yep, shaka.
Totally down for whatever. Let me just get to cousin Louie before we get to the extra point. Good morning, Louie.
Yeah, Ray. Hey, I think you're missing a very obvious reason why flying cars just really wouldn't work on Guam.
I'm ready to be schooled. Go ahead.
Well, I honestly don't think there is a computer software programmer, writer in the world that would have the skill to properly write code for directions given some moral aid. I mean, imagine somebody trying to program this. You fly down the road to the third broken trash can on the right, and then when you see the coconut tree with the broken leaf, well, that's not it. Instead, you ask the lady across the street, and she'll have her grandson tell you about the dog that barks down the street, and then that's the house where you go.
Brilliant. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I used to date a girl, and I remember asking, how do I get to your house? And she says, go Marine Corps Drive, and it's the last traffic light before you get to Anderson Air Force Base. Now, I'm saying this out loud. People already know who I'm talking about. It's the last traffic light before you get to Anderson Air Force Base, and that was the landmark. That was the only way That was the only way that you would know that cut in the boonies would lead to somebody's house. Is the last traffic light. You're right. I think that is one of the obvious reasons why. Lou, I appreciate your sense of humor, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, you take care.
You know I will. It's 7:41. Jerry Roberts is in the studio here this morning. I suppose that means we're going to be getting a live version of the Extra Point.
It could be live.
Will it be judgy? Will it cause me to judge myself as the two bias editorial submissions did?
It's what I do. No, it's not. No judgments today. No judgments today.
Because I couldn't sleep.
Have you recovered yet?
No, I haven't. Because I'm sitting around and I like to think. Number one, I'm very humble. I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I like to think that when I come up with an opinion about something, a thought or two about something, it's based on critical thought. It's based on a little bit of logic, maybe a little bit of an Underwood Bend sense of humor.
Yep.
But now I realize as I was listening to those pieces, and you can get them at GuamTraining.com, that I'm a victim of a kind of bias I didn't even recognize. I will go online, and I might see 30 things that are just as logical but disagree with my position. And as far as I'm concerned, BS. It's bunk. All those people are brain damaged.
Sure.
But if I find just one
all
that goes down the parallel lane with me, then I'm going, see, I told you.
Now, you said the Underwood what by you?
The sense of humor.
Underwood, there was a slash on there. Underwood something sense of humor.
Did I? I don't know. Listen to the tape.
You had something. Anyway, all right. So there's your bias.
That's got to be it.
No, we grow up that way.
Mm-hmm.
We all have biases. We all have, well, I call them baggage, right? We all have people that input things into our lives that formulate, who we are at a very early age. I used to hear 6, and now it's way earlier than 6. So if you grow up with all these things, that becomes the person that you are. And you filter everything through that, regardless. You don't even know why you do. It's just there.
So am I supposed to change that or just be aware of it?
I think awareness is the key. Sometimes we can change, sometimes we can't, sometimes we don't have to.
Okay, so under the don't have to category, because there is this thing. You get to be a certain age, and pretty much you don't have to care what people think or whether they agree with you or not.
Biased man.
Well, I don't. Whatever age I'm at now is the one where you go. The only person I really anymore have to be accountable to is my daughter. So I think that's it. Yeah. And as long as she's not giving me a hard time about wearing skinny pants and growing a beard at 56 for the first time in my life, then I think I'm gonna be all right.
Okay.
All right. Jerry Roberts now at 7:44, the belated Extra Point.
And before we do that, by the way, I agree with Michael that it'll be drone technology. And it shouldn't have any tires, because that was the genesis of my problem this morning. No tires on flying vehicles. Okay, period. And as for the software, we'll just go with Microsoft. No problems there. 2018 is almost gone. Hey, I was just getting used to you in 2018. Do you have to go so soon? I like this year, and now a new one is just around the corner. Do you think it's a good time to start thinking about that? Let's take our first look next on the Extra Point. If you ask most people what kind of a year 2018 has been for them, you'll likely get a mixed report. Maybe their personal life was good, but the career took a dip, or vice versa. You can dig deeper. Maybe you had goals for your marriage, for your kids, and for your family as a unit. How did those go? Did you hit on some, but not on others? Would you like to take the goals you fell short on and roll those into 2019? Or are you going to revamp them? Or are you going to get rid of them and plan something else? If you and your family had great success in certain areas, can you do more of those things and expand those wins? If so, how? When? Is there something you thought was going to work out and you really wanted it to happen, but it didn't? Why didn't it? How close were you? Is it still a good idea? Do you still want it? Is it worth the time to do an analysis on why it didn't pan out the way you hoped and expected? If you could answer all those questions and found that you still believe in the value of your initial plan or your initial idea, would you be willing to hit the reset button and try again in 2019? Would others be supportive? If you're a student or have one in your home and grades aren't meeting expectations, what can be done to change things? Going from failing to passing is usually just a decision. It's the same from a C to a B and a B to an A. What's in your way that prevents better grades? What will you do about it? Maybe 2018 was a great year for your career or business. How can you springboard off that success and make next year even better? Do you think scheduling a conversation with your boss could help bring that process into focus? Would he or she be excited about that and want to help you? If I use the term strengthen your strengths, what would that mean for you? Are you already terrific at things, or what are those things? Okay? With a little more effort, could you achieve legendary status? I know in our jobs we don't think in legendary terms for what we do, but we know that the best performers practice their best moves, what I call their money moves, over and over and over, so they get better and stronger. That's strengthening their strengths. That's what made Michael Jordan legendary. Was he the best at everything? No, just certain things. And those certain things were the ones that really mattered. So here's my question for you. What are your certain things? What strengths that mattered for you in 2018 do you want to improve upon in 2019? There's only a month left until the calendar kicks over into the new year. Don't wait to take your 2018 inventory and make your plan for an even better 2019. Start now and get what you need lined up and ready to go. 2019 belongs to you. Get after it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 and The Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
And another one hit pow right out of the park.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was looking at the calendar this morning. It's December tomorrow.
It's
December tomorrow, 2018, and
flew by, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, there was an interesting year, as I'm fond of telling everybody. It was a very interesting year, and there were parts that I wish would have gone by a little bit faster. But still, in all, I think at the end of the day, I don't know that I would trade any one of the moments, good or bad, for anything else, because it all contributes.
And that is a really healthy way to look at things. So some people have tragic things happen in their lives, and they lose loved ones and all, and there's been a lot of that happening in and around me for the past month or so. And I think that the best way that you talk to families in circumstances like that is take a breath, look around you, and try to find a balance in what has gone on. And then, you just suck it up and go for better days, because there are really no other options.
Sure.
You have to do that. Tomorrow, the sun will rise tomorrow, and you go on. For those in lesser circumstances, they don't have to deal with those kinds of things, and just had some down days and down weeks and down months and the rest. You buckle up and go.
We've had this conversation, obviously. It's not the first time that between a couple of guys or a couple of girls talking about 2018, and there's more than one or two people that I've talked to that said, wow, 2018 just sucked. It just absolutely sucked. And there's a part of me that kind of wants to jump in and go, yeah, but we're here. We can have this conversation together. Right. And as much as the year sucked, and it's not like we were sitting around two homeless people on the streets. I mean, we were in a fairly Tony place, enjoying some fairly Tony drinks, and enjoying the evening with some friends. So even as bad as 2018 was, we're not desolate, we're not destitute, we're not out there trying to rub two nickels together and find smokes.
And the great line is, "But for the grace of God,
go us." Yes,
so,
yes.
So I think you always take a look at the upside and what the blessings you have. Rather than the negative side of it, and then just take the next step forward.
Is it 2018 already?
Crazy things happen when you're not paying any attention.
1980.
Think about our and I've been pausing in reflection for just a little bit. There's no major news going on right now, so we can have these conversations. But I was pondering yesterday, because I've been playing around with the idea of our first anniversary show,
I heard that.
which is coming up. I mean, as you look at the calendars, December and January and then it's going to be February 1st, which is a Friday. I might point out it's a Friday, which gives us some real opportunities here to really dress this up. I mean, we could do a 3-hour show in the morning, and then just start getting loaded for the rest of the day, and then have a little cocktail thing that night. What?
Get loaded for the rest of the day? I don't think so.
Will that be?
Well, you got real work.
Hang on a second.
You got a real job.
I saw the notes on this the other day. So we're giving away 3 Lexuses to the morning audience,
that's
right?
what we were talking about. Well, it was that and 3 Infinities.
Okay.
And we got a couple of caddies from over at Derek's place that we might want to give away.
The house is still on there too, right?
Well, you know what? The house is there. We just trying to decide whether we want it to be at down whether a town home. Do we want something a little bit more condominium style? Do we want something laid out on a half acre?
Every listener gets gold. And there was something going on.
Yeah. See, now this is I don't know whether I should take advice from the guy that got married at the Gagne Shopping Center or not.
Wait a second. The first time.
Yeah.
That's good. This is history.
At the time, a promotional machine. How much fun was that? Got a couple of minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning. And Shelley chimed in earlier, and I want to say thanks very much to the folks over at the Guard for cleaning up on Route 8. That's their adopted stretch of road, and even if it wasn't, it's right in front of the house of the Guard and Reserve. So, yeah, they're definitely going to want to keep that place looking good. Like the lights, Major Joe Bloss. I like the lights that you guys put up there. It's nice.
Great. We're happy to do that. We know that there's a lot of motorists that go past our readiness center, so absolutely we want to add to the color of the season, I guess.
Well, and if you'd like to know just how appreciative we are, just make it so I can buy gas over at the little auto port that you've got there. That would be nice. I'd go and.
That's a little above my pay grade.
Can I use the gym?
Sure, I can have you use the gym.
Sure, she says.
That's more under our control than the benefits at the gas station.
Oh, I see. All right, 7:52. Ask my classmate a little bit later on when you see him. But I remember reading something about a hero run that you guys are going to be doing tomorrow. I wanted to get information on that.
Actually, Ray, it's going to be on Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday, correct.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. So. What it is about once every quarter we try to honor our fallen heroes. We have 6 fallen heroes from the Guam National Guard. And so for this Sunday, we're going to honor Sergeant Samson Mora. He was killed in action in 2008 in Afghanistan. And so the soldiers, the battalion soldiers, so that's our largest unit, they're going to be forming up at the Dedido Sports Complex, and they're going to run all the way to his house, which is in Machechi. And they actually they stop and they render honors to the family who we always inform the family, so they're always there. And we're going to render honors to them as we run past their house.
Oh, I think that's terrific.
It's really a great, as many times as I've seen it, Ray, it's just awesome.
Well, I'm getting you're touching me in the feels here as we're having this conversation, because it really is a terrific thing to do. And 2008 wasn't yesterday, and I'm sure that the family will appreciate knowing that there are still people that love and care and want to pay respect and honor to them.
Absolutely. Every time we have an event, a ceremony, we always invite our Gold Star families. And, they're invited, the public as well, if they want to come out and join us on the run. Mm-hmm. It's a couple miles each way, but, we don't go too fast because we like to, it's for our fitness. And plus, we want to wake up all the neighborhood, so we're going to be running, doing cadence through the neighborhood.
Just fire off the guns. People will wake up.
Right, and the dogs always join us. So hey, it's actually a really great thing. I mean, because we're doing 2 things. We're ensuring that our soldiers are stay fit, but we're honoring the family, and the family always comes out. In fact, a couple times they'll FaceTime live. They have Samson's brother is in the Army in the stationed stateside, and they'll FaceTime him in, and it's just an awesome thing because the family always appreciates it.
Well, I'm sure of it. And again, so it's not necessarily on a whole lot of routed roadways, right? I mean, we're doing a lot of running, and a lot of the routes going to be in the villages, so be on the lookout for them.
That's correct.
You'll be able to see and hear them as they're making their way through the village. college. And about what's the, I mean, can anybody join you? I mean, like if I've got my short running shorts on, can I just kind of fold myself in?
We welcome them to jump into the formation and join us on the run. You know, we are part of the community. Our Guard members are part of the community, so absolutely, we want them to come along and, you know, make sure that the family knows that we haven't forgotten. And you know, it's also great healing for the soldiers who served alongside Samson Mora.
Of course it is. And while I've got you on the phone here, just a couple of other questions I wanted to ask about. There seems to be a whole lot of pictures that I have seen of troops, Guard, reservists that are going out in different parts of the world, different deployments that we've got, plus the ones that were up in Saipan for the rehabilitation and reconstruction out there. Is there still a lot of movement of men and women and machines?
There's still a lot of movement, Ray. Besides the soldiers, we have over 100 soldiers and airmen in Saipan helping with the recovery. But we still have airmen deployed right now, and then we're getting ready to push out about 70 soldiers. They're going to be taking over the THAAD security mission in January.
Oh.
And then we have airmen, about 40 airmen.
No, wait, hold on. That's a big deal. That's so our guys are now trained up and certified to run the terminal high altitude anti-missile defense system.
Actually, no, not the system, but we're going to be providing the security for the system.
Oh, I see.
We're still working on that mission, but we did get the security mission.
It's the same button, isn't it? just you know, nobody else is around. You just press the button and make it go, right?
Right. If it was only that easy, but no, we haven't quite gotten that mission yet. We are working to try to get it, but we did get the security mission, so we're going to help ensure the security of the THAAD up there up in Anderson.
All right. Now, are you also providing security for the K-pop groups that are going to be performing Saturday night?
We haven't gotten that request.
You'd think with as big a show that you would only entrust the security to somebody like the Guard and the Reserve folks that we've got around here.
Right.
So are you in the Plumeria tomorrow?
I am not, because we have drill this weekend.
Oh.
In fact, I have a PT test in the morning, so I won't be there, unfortunately.
But you will be running somewhere, right?
I'll be running somewhere up in Anderson.
I got you.
And back to the deployments, we also have about 40 airmen from our different units going out in January, and then in May we have about 200 soldiers going out for another mission. Actually, it's a new mission that we haven't done before. It's going to be in the Sinai. We're going to be joining the peacekeeping mission there.
Oh, really? We're going to, maybe the general and I need to get some interview time here before too much longer. Talk about some of these places.
Absolutely.
That I mean, that as you point out, very very interesting missions and deployments that we're going to be seeing in a whole just incredible host of I want to say activities and memories that these guys are going to be bringing back with them. I hope they are all good. Major Joe, always fun talking with you, and on behalf of the folks that work and live and drive up and down Route 8, thanks for keeping the place looking good.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
See you soon. See you on the road. Good luck with the PT. 7:59 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. And I think I've decided on what I'm going to call. You know, every Friday I try to get somebody of the female pursuit and of generally nice, pretty in the face in the studio. And I've been fortunate in the last 3 or 4 weeks doing that, and my good fortune continues. So I think I'm going to name it. I think I'm going to call it Friday Faces, if for no other reason, just so I've got something to handle it on, and so I can use that to invite people on the show and say, hey, it's Friday. I like to get pretty and women and accomplished women in the studio. Are you interested in coming by? So Friday Faces today. Jennifer Ross, Ross Hearing Aids. We'll talk about that and more as the program continues. 8 o'clock in the morning. This is KUSG Hagutnya. Stand by now for Fox News Live. Kevin Kerrigan on the other side of that, and lots of football with Blake and Mike and me coming up.
To the president, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, says that's why he lied to Congress in the Russia probe, stating in a surprise guilty plea today that talks on a possible real estate deal in Moscow lasted until June of 2016. But he told a Senate panel the talks had ended in January of that year to match political messaging. The president says Cohen is just trying to get his upcoming sentence reduced.
This deal was a very public deal. Everybody knows about this deal. I wasn't
wasn't trying to hide anything.
In the plea documents, Cohen says the proposed project had nothing to do with the presidential campaign. Democrats in Congress, though, say more investigation is needed into any possible effort by Russia to gain financial leverage over the president. The president speaking to reporters before heading to the G20 summit in Argentina, and a short time later, changing his summit schedule on the fly, announcing from Air Force One he was scrapping a meeting with Russia's president over the seizure of Ukrainian ships. Fox's John Decker is live in Buenos Aires.
The president tweeting, based on the fact that the ships and sailors have not been returned to Ukraine from Russia, I've decided it would be best for all parties concerned to cancel the meeting. The tweet announcing the cancellation of the bilateral meeting with Vladimir Putin caught the Kremlin by surprise. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders said the president made his decision in consultation with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Chief of Staff John Kelly, and National Security Advisor John Bolton. The president did not rule out a future meeting with Putin, writing on Twitter, I look forward to a meaningful summit again as soon as the situation involving Ukraine is resolved. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Meantime, reports in Germany that a government plane carrying Chancellor Angela Merkel to the summit had to turn around because of a technical problem with its radio equipment. No injuries, made a safe landing in Cologne, and then they worked out a replacement plane. This is Fox News.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Happy Day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us Pika's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
A suspect's now in custody for the Thanksgiving night shooting in an Alabama mall where police shot and killed the wrong man. But after today's arrest in Georgia, community leaders are renewing their call for footage of the mall shooting to be released.
Emantic Bradford Jr. was shot and killed during last week's incident by a Hoover police officer. City Councilman Derek Murphy says body cam tape should be released by the Alabama law enforcement agency by Monday. If not,
the chief will decide whether to release the limited information on his own.
But community activists like Ladarius Hilliard ask, why do they have to wait?
Obviously, they already have the power now to do it. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't give an ultimatum to the state.
Activists say the cop that killed Bradford is still on the street and should be branded a murderer for shooting an innocent man.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Police have said while it wasn't Bradford who fired shots at the mall, they weren't sure whether he was part of the initial disturbance before the shots. The rising rates of drug overdoses and suicides in the U.S. are fueling a decline in overall life expectancy.
The CDC director issued a written statement saying life expectancy gives us a snapshot of the nation's overall health, and these sobering statistics are a wake-up call that we are losing too many Americans too early and too often to conditions that are preventable. In 2017, drug overdoses claimed more than 70,000 lives in the U.S. That's nearly a 10% increase over the previous year, and the suicide rate among working-age Americans increased 34% from 2000 to 2016.
Fox's Jonathan Seri. Average life expectancy is now inched down for 3 years in a row, the longest period of general decline in about a century. The next U.S. moon landing will be made by a private company. NASA says 9 U.S. companies will compete in delivering experiments to the lunar surface to speed up the process. The first flight could be next year. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Today, Tritons. This is Chelsea Ting, Communications Officer with Bank of Guam and proud alumna of the University of Guam, class of 2015. I made some of the best memories during my time as a Triton, but I also remember that it wasn't easy to pay for everything that I needed to graduate on time. I have committed to giving back through the G is for Giving campaign, which will help student scholarships, programs, and activities, and I encourage you to do the same. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2975 for more information.
Viva UOG!
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who have already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and Good Morning Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. I'm Kevin Kerrigan, and here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The federal government made its case against the Chamorro Land Trust Act in District Court of Guam yesterday. Throughout the hearing, senior U.S. District Court Judge Susan Oki-Mulway questioned the claim that the act is race-based. Judge Mulway suggested alternative language that might eliminate references to race. She wondered aloud whether she should postpone her decision, and she finally concluded by suggesting to both parties that they explore the possibility of holding a settlement conference if they thought it would be fruitful. As Justice Department Attorney Catherine Lagomsky presented her arguments that the Land Trust Act is race-based discrimination because it makes land available only to native Chamorros, the judge asked whether there was a way to change the language and take out references to Chamorros. She also asked whether the Chamorro Land Trust Act might be viewed as an act to compensate a class of people who suffered a loss rather than a benefit for a specific racial group. During his presentation, Deputy Attorney General Ken Orcott said the biggest fallacy with the federal government's case is the claim that the Chamorro Land Trust Act is race-based. It simply is not, he said. It is political. The Organic Act created a political, not a racial class of people. Judge Mulway took the arguments under advisement. A decision is expected at a later time. Guahan Academy Charter School asking to use Guam DOE's Building E in Teedzin because they need additional classroom space and parking spots. Former Legislative Speaker Judy Wanpad is the school's chief academic officer. She told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that she sent the request to Superintendent John Fernandez to use the building back in August when Building E was vacant. But months went by without a firm answer until last week when a letter went out from the governor's office to Superintendent John Fernandez advising Fernandez that the building should be vacated to make room for GACs. But now the building is occupied. It's being used for special needs students, and Fernandez says it's not available anymore. Governor's education liaison, Vince Leon Guerrero, has been called into the ruckus. He'll try and work it out. He's asked to schedule a site visit to Building E today and to other Guam DOE facilities to try and find some room for Guahan Academy. We'll have more news after this.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need to hear. There are sounds that you want to hear. And there are sounds that you long to hear.
I love you.
Hear it all, louder and clearer than ever before. If you or someone you know has a hard time hearing, Guam Hearing Doctors can help using state-of-the-art test gear to evaluate your hearing and coming up with a plan to make your life better by making your hearing better. Call Guam Hearing Doctors for an appointment or visit them on the web at guamhearingdoctors.com.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. OSHA officials have referred all questions about last Sunday's job site fatality to their spokesman in San Francisco, who has yet to respond to requests for comment. The federal agency has yet to release any details about the fatal incident or identify the victim's employer. J. Daryl Wasisang died after being struck by a backhoe on Sunday at a work site along Palomares Street off Route 15 in Manilao. Guam Fire Department spokesman Kevin Riley confirming that GFD medics responded to an emergency call at that location Sunday afternoon. He said a worker had been spotting for the backhoe operator who was digging a hole when the worker was apparently struck by the backhoe bucket. When medics arrived, they found the man unconscious and unresponsive. Wasisang was rushed to Guam Memorial Hospital, where he later died. Wasisang's employer has not been officially identified, and it's not clear whether the employer informed OSHA of the fatal incident in a timely manner. OSHA compliance officer Sydney Meager told the Guam Daily Post on Wednesday that she had not been notified of the fatality. All employers are required to notify OSHA within 8 hours after an employee has been killed on the job. An effort to place an emergency bill on the session agenda yesterday failed after a heated debate that took up the entire morning session. Although the measure has not had a public hearing, Senator Tom Atta urged immediate consideration of the bill to avoid an $8 million deficit in the current fiscal year budget. Bill 374 would have amended the property tax increase that is part of the 2019 budget law by adding just 2 words, those words, or more. The addition was necessary in the wake of an Attorney General opinion on Tuesday. That opinion was requested by Revenue Tax Director John Camacho, who sought clarification on which properties the tax increase would apply to, because the wording in the current law says the tax applies to improvements on property with a value of $1 million. In the absence of the words or more, Camacho said taxpayers might contest the tax if it's imposed on properties that have a value of more than $1 million. The AG concluded that that's just what the current law says. The new tax would only apply to properties valued at exactly $1 million, no more, no less. The result, argued Senator Atta yesterday, would be an unexpected loss of $8 million that poses a threat to the safety of the people of Guam. He asked for a hearing, the hearing requirement to be waived, but Senator Fernando Esteves objected, saying the legislature has consistently maintained that bills that have not been publicly heard cannot be deliberated on the floor. Fellow lawmakers agreed. Senator Atta's effort to get the bill on the agenda failed. Lawmakers back in session this afternoon at 4 to vote on the bills they moved to the voting file this week. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
We'll take a look at the radar in a second. Clouds increasing through the day. Mostly cloudy skies expected over the weekend, with isolated showers becoming scattered tonight through Saturday. Northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Highs around 89 degrees with a maximum afternoon heat index. There's going to be a heat index. It'll feel like 101 degrees. Cooler over the weekend for sure. Lows around 77. We'll see the sunset at 5:51. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:27. As I said, it's time for the radar, and there is the map showing a whole bunch of junk that just barely missed us south of Guam.
It really did, but it's indicative of how much moisture is in our area right now, which is the reason for the heat index later. Now, the activity that's probably going to affect us is just now starting to enter the radar scope up in the upper right-hand part of the screen. That'll be moving through this afternoon, but I think before it gets here, it it will heat up sufficiently enough to where things will be very, very hot out there with the humidity. And then the clouds will move in. It'll start to cool things down this evening. No heat index tomorrow. Should be warm, but Sunday as well. Then that's when the showers will start to wind down a little bit. But it looks like we're going to kind of stay cloudy for a few days. It'll be mostly dry. The shower activity will be very, very isolated, but the moisture will be there. The clouds will be there. So, that might actually be a nice trade-off. It won't be as hot, but still a chance of rain.
Quarter after 8 o'clock in the morning. That's news and weather together on The Point. Coming up,
Family
sports.
Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the program also brought to you by King's Restaurant, where they've got the crazy holiday menu. They're zany, I tell you. Just kooky guys there. And they've got the crazy kooky breakfast going on with adobo fried rice, s'mores pancakes. But I think the real piece here that you're going to fall in love with is the Fruity Pebbles pancakes. Fruity breakfast cereal flakes infused in fluffy pancakes served with powdered sugar and syrup. You remember where Fruity Pebbles come from, right? Mm-hmm. The Flintstones. The little girl in Flintstones. That was her name.
My favorite cereal, introduce them to my daughter. We have to hide the box.
No.
She loves them so much. And she likes it dry.
Oh, the Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, the Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's nothing wrong with that.
They said they hold up.
In milk?
No, I mean, they hold up like from the time. Because, they've changed cereal. Like Cookie Crisp isn't the same tasting anymore. So,
I hear what you mean.
Because now they use whole grain instead of like whatever they used that wasn't USDA friendly back in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, they hold up. You can't taste the difference from how it used to taste.
All right, if we're going there, let's go there. Favorite cereal?
Oh, dude, I had many. Still, even now, Captain Crunch's Peanut Butter Crunch.
Ooh. Never a fan.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
No, I never got into Captain Crunch.
There you go. I thought you said peanut butter.
Even when they put the little berries in them, you remember
Crunch
when
berries.
they
Yeah,
Crunch berries? The Crunch berries. Even when they put that in there, it still wasn't enough for me to get that Captain Crunch.
They help fight
flavor.
off the soggies.
Dude, that's right. That's right. All right. Even Kevin is interested in this.
I don't eat cereal.
What about oatmeal? You eat hot cereal?
I was never a child.
You ever eat grits?
I came out just like this.
Yeah, grits. Yeah,
that's like hot cereal, right? Yeah.
You never had a
Oatmeal.
Just oatmeal. You never had a thing for a box cereal growing up?
No, I don't know. Cornflakes.
Tony the Tiger, just anything?
Yeah.
With Saturday
Fruit
morning?
Loops.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I can have so whatever they have in the variety box, and maybe that ought to be the thing. So
Apple Jacks.
Because Apple Jacks was always the last one,
right?
Nobody wanted the Apple Jacks.
No. That and Rice Krispies. People are like, nah, I'm good on that.
The Rice Krispies needs something. I don't know. It needs more sugar.
The best part about eating Rice Krispies is digging the sugar out of the bottom of the bowl when you were finished.
That never lands on the cereal. You put it all over your cereal, and then you eat your cereal. Like, why can't I taste it? You add more sugar.
Snapped, crackled, pop.
Yep.
Now that's what I do.
Yeah. If I wasn't in a near constant state of diet, you know what I would love? A couple of number one is the Count Chocula.
That was very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Count Chocula, just open the box and just angle it so it all goes into my mouth.
And let us not forget the wolf who liked fruit.
Right.
He was called Fruit Brute.
He was. And
wow.
my favorite of that group actually was Boo Berry.
Yeah, Boo Berry.
And you couldn't hardly find it, but they do sell it around Halloween.
They bring them all back.
Yeah. But it doesn't taste.
Big Sister Shelley says Cocoa Krispies, yes, and Count Chocula made into Krispies treats.
Anybody like any of the golden graham flavored, like Golden Grams or Golden Crisp? You know?
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Corn Pops, any one of the.
I can do some of that. I mean, in a pinch.
Have you had? So from my generation,
what a crazy kind of. And all we're doing right now is riffing off a King's commercial, right? That's it.
There's one that was really big in like the mid '90s. I remember it, and where I lived in Dallas, they gave you a free voucher in the Dallas Morning News to get a free box of this cereal. Turn it into Kroger, Albertsons, or whatever. And they took it away by 2000, but they brought it back. You can get it now. It's called Waffle Crisp.
Oh yeah,
and it tastes like waffles and milk.
Yeah, I do.
So good.
Not vivid memories of having that around. but yeah, I think I remember some of the flavor in the. But cereal in a box.
Yeah.
Did your mom ever come home with cereal in a bag and you go, oh, no.
Oh, yeah, we don't. It's the same. Dino Bites are not the same as Fruity Pebbles, Mom. If it says Malto Meal on the bag, I'm not touching it.
And it's coming in a bag. We're not. Are we poor? We're not poor, are we? 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so Fruity Pebbles pancakes at King's.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans. With rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center, Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Hagåtña and Dededo. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956.
Oh.
Take Care, our island, your health plan.
It's begun. He's not even waiting for us to do the Sports with Blake Shaw. Brad's already in with his picks. He's already identified and posted them up for the week on Facebook Live. We'll get to that here in just a second, but I do need to take care of some of the other advertisers. They're going, am I going to get a 4-minute riff for Security Title? Yes, Security Title. This just as good as Count Chocula for all of your real estate transactions. No, they know all about confidentiality. So if you need to be able to keep a secret, you talk to Ron and Kim. They can do that for you. American WaterTech, Smarter Water, Better Water. American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar, and they proved it. 9 lives saved this month with open heart surgery at GRMC.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It does. Hey, what a great week you've been through, huh? Go reward yourself with a pie scream cake over at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience. And I'm just thinking about all the things that they might be able to do if we said, hey, could you make a pie scream cake, but instead of using graham crackers and whatever, could you make that with, I don't know, frosted flake? Have you ever had one of those, a cheesecake where the crust was made with oh, that's so good. Oh my God. Anyway, so the one that they're doing now is the Ghirardelli sea salt caramel with the yellow cake with the graham cracker. Or maybe you can ask about the different bottoms that you might be able to put on one of the pie scream cakes at Cold Stone Creamery.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
Who got birthdays today that we know about? There's my friend Sheena Williams and cop buddy Vicente Nueva. Nice to see you there, neighbor. Joe Sanmeyer, Kay Hazama, and Carol Gerlon are all celebrating birthdays today. I think that's the Carol that works over at AK, I believe. You know somebody celebrating birthday?
In the States, one of my best buddies since 6th, 7th grade, the only guy I play online with that I actually know in real life. His birthday was the 29th, so it's his birthday in the States, but it was yesterday for him.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
And I think she might still be celebrating her birthday from a couple of days ago. Arlene Collins, happy birthday to you. And if you want, just look for her on Facebook, because she's got like 3 days worth of birthday pics on there. 8:23 in the morning. Now it's time for Sports with Blake.
I don't want to be too random before we get into sports.
Too late. Too late.
But I will say this. This had mist coming out of my eyes earlier this morning. I don't know who did it. I started following the Twitter user. She's local. MEIXELZBTH. Miex Elizabeth?
Don't know.
I don't know. At MEIXELZBTH. She has a video of what looks like... I don't know if it's her family or whatever, but it looks like maybe a grandmother and and her grandson. And she's saying, so they're dropping her off at the airport, dropping grandma off at the airport. And the little boy, she's like, oh, come give me a hug. So he gives her a hug. Bye, see you in a week. And whoever's videoing, just from point of view, hands him a backpack and then says, "You're going too," and they surprise them right at the airport, right at the front doors of the airport. And not only that, I guess who's ever videoing is pregnant, and she goes, "And mommy's coming too with baby." So what I guess was supposed to just be a grandma single trip to go visit Papa over in Manila turned into everybody going. And there's a whole video of the little boy being surprised. Yeah, I retweeted it at Blake on Air if you want to go check it out. I'll send it to Ray once we get done here, and I get a moment.
Well, I already have an airport scene here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but it's in the opposite direction. This is another one of those that'll give you the feels. Let me put it on the screen here, and it requires no audio. The picture will tell the story. Here's a lady in the foreground holding a dog on a leash, and then watch what happens as a certain somebody steps off the escalator. Dog goes wild.
Crazy, man.
Dog goes wild.
Now, my dogs would not do that for me.
Look at that. Just the joy that this dog has got to see the master.
I WhatsApp the video that I had to you. Just WhatsApped it to you. But yeah, dogs, because not all dogs do that. Like my dog, even no matter how long I was gone, he would kind of look over and then just kind of wander off the opposite direction looking for food.
Yeah. Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Did you bring food? No. Okay. Anyway, 8:26 in the morning. Got a lot of football to get to, and should we start with Brad's picks as well?
Yeah.
Do we want to do it?
Why not?
Let me just roll into that. He says Saints, Falcons, Denver, the Rams, the Packers, the Bills, Bears, Panthers, Colts, Texans, Titans, Chiefs, Patriots, Seagulls, the Steelers, the Eagles are winning picks for the week, according to Brad Hewitt. Do we agree, disagree, or is it kind of a mixed bag here?
I disagree on a few of them.
Most of them I'm with him on, but I haven't started the bed yet. I can't speak about it until there's proper music.
Can't do it without the showbiz part.
Yeah.
So
I agree with him on some stuff. Let's go ahead and run it down, man. We got
the first
Saints.
three. If we don't have to do the first three, I'm with them. But yeah, go ahead.
Pretty much, yeah. I got Saints and Cowboys. I picked Saints, and I gave them 14 points. I think that's a sure deal.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I'm not picking my team all season, so I'm picking against them. Go Saints.
There you go. I got the Ravens at the Falcons. I got Falcons.
Falcons.
I didn't give that one much confidence, so you never know what Ravens team or what Falcons team is going to show up to any particular game.
True.
Broncos at the Bengals. Again, I didn't give...
Andy Dalton's on IR. They lost their starting quarterback, did the Bengals, so just by that virtue alone, I'm giving it to the Broncos.
Well, then I just changed my pick.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Got Rams at Lions. That's a no-brainer.
Rams.
Yeah. Packers hosting Cardinals.
Packers.
Yep. Dolphins hosting the Bills.
I'm different than Brad on this one. I'm not buying into Buffalo. It ain't hard to beat the Jags. I got the Dolphins.
And if you look at these teams' records, they're not even close.
Yeah.
Buffalo
It is a
not
divisional
really.
game, so I get it. Yeah. Anything can happen. It's in Miami.
Yeah,
so you got no weather to attend to, unless it's like rain. But it's not going to be cold, snowy, and all that mess like in Buffalo.
Yeah, when you factor in a divisional game and in Miami, I had to give them the edge. Bears at the Giants. I got Bears.
Yep, Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Panthers at the Bucks.
Panthers.
Of course.
Stronger team.
Yes, sir. Colts at the Jaguars, good divisional struggle. Colts are actually not as bad as we thought they were going to be this year, and I picked them.
And I did too, and I'll tell you what I actually did. I know it seems weird. I did a lot of research on this game.
Yeah.
Colts have won 7. Jags have lost 5. Jags benched their quarterback. Their starting running back is banned for this game. He's suspended for this week because he got into a fight and threw a punch last week, so give me the Colts.
I got Colts too. Good job. Browns at the Texans, and I picked the Browns. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, the Browns, of course, they lost their head coach, and actually they are looking up now as they get past the Hugh Jackson era. And the Texans, they played a very emotional game last week against the Titans at home.
Was that 9 in a row or 8 in a row?
That was 8 in a row, and it was just a few days after the owner had died.
And they had a terrible first quarter,
It
too.
really was, yeah. And so they came back, and it's one of those things where you've got a good team playing a bad team, but I think they just put too much emotionally into the game last week, and they've got to lose a game sooner or later because they're not going to win out. And I think this is one of those sleeper games, so to speak, that they'll probably go ahead and drop this one and then pick it up after that and maybe win out the rest of the season because the schedule is just not hard.
And also keep in mind that could very well be a home game for one Baker Mayfield, as he is from Texas, not far from the Houston area. So that game's in Houston.
Yes.
So People.
Okay, now, while you guys are talking, I mean, just because it's the two of you on the Facebook live screen, and I'm thinking maybe I need to put something else here. So this is the official arrival at the airport picture for Athena, Miss Universe.
Well, you don't even need to put us back on there.
I may not put anything back up. I would recommend
I
leave that there.
I want to be back on there. Speak for yourself.
Can I do that?
You superimpose me next to Athena.
Got to be a way to do it.
I think it would be obvious that I wasn't there with her.
We can Photoshop that. Jets at the Titans.
Titans.
Chiefs at the Raiders. No-brainer.
Just move on.
Yeah, Patriots hosting Vikings.
You know what? I'm picking Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's good. Now it's me and Athena.
There you go.
Okay,
nice. There you go. Yeah, and I know that game's in New England, and I just like to, buck the system sometimes. So give me Adam Thielen, Case Keenum, and the Vikings.
Okay. And these aren't the same Patriots that we've known over the last 15 years.
So it's going to be a good game either way.
I think so. 49ers at the Seahawks. The 49ers are just so bad, and it's in Seattle.
Only time, I'm got to be smart. Only time you'll see me go for Seattle.
There you go. Chargers at the Steelers.
Chargers, man.
Really? I got Steelers.
You cannot convince me the Chargers aren't the second best team in the AFC behind Kansas City.
It seems like every single time I have failed to pick the Steelers, they win. So I'm picking them this time. Finally, Redskins at the Eagles. That's a Monday night game.
It's an NFC East dumpster fire. I'll take the Eagles.
Yep, got to take that. So those are your picks for this week.
How you doing there, Kevin? You got all that?
No. Not paying attention.
There we go. Just waiting. Where's the theme music? Is it my turn to talk yet? That's the way it works. 8:31 in the morning. Let's put some more of this back up on the screen. Is that all the time we got for sports? Is there any other sports stuff going on?
No. Girls basketball playoffs first round, quarterfinal round will start this weekend. So when we come back in Monday morning, we'll have IIAAG All Island girls basketball list to talk about and the results of the first round of the playoffs.
All right, a couple of big 5 and 10K coming up. The Plumeria Run, Guam Running Club's Plumeria race is going to be taking place tomorrow at Hulali. I presume that the show time is going to be around 5 o'clock. Because it's a 10K and a 5K, they'll probably send the 10K guys out first, and then the 5K guys out will go out a little bit after that. But I think everybody will be out by about 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Absolutely perfect. And there's going to be a run for the hero on Sunday. That's a guard and reserve thing. We were talking to
the Marine Corps Drive route, right?
No, this is different. This is going to be up in the destination is out in Machechi. It's for a particular fallen hero. The Guam Rock and Run for Heroes. That's the big race that you're talking about. Skinner Plaza next Saturday, the 8th, 5 a.m. Showtime, go time is at 6. Register at the USO or, of course, Hornet, or just, you know what, spend up because the money goes to a good cause and just pay a little bit extra when you show up and sign up that day. All right, that's all the time we got for sports. It's 8:32 headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming up next.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crate with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
That is a beautiful young lady. And if you take a look at, do I have time to put the picture back up? I'm sure I do. Where did it? Let me just find out where I stashed it. And that's Athena, Miss Universe Guam. Last name is McNinch. And take a look at that and go, really? This Ron's kid. Good-looking girl. Must have gotten it from her mother. It is 8:33 in the morning. And she's smart, they tell me. She's like super, super smart. Again, must have gotten it from her mother. I was just playing around, Ron. 8:33 in the morning and time for headlines. From the Guam Daily Post, here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, a 42-year-old man behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a woman known to him on several occasions while she was handcuffed to a chair. Frankie Leon Guerrero Santos Jr., arrested by police after the victim, a 35-year-old woman, reported that Santos came into her home while she was sleeping, woke her up, and began to strangle her. When the woman's cell phone rang, the woman was able to inform the caller of what was happening. The caller notified police. Santos was arrested. He's facing allegations now of criminal sexual conduct, family violence, and unlawful restraint. A former altar boy's encounter with a priest when he was 12 years old has scarred him for life, according to the latest lawsuit filed against the Archdiocese of Agana in the Superior Court of Guam. There are now nearly 200 lawsuits in all filed against the Archdiocese, which has filed for bankruptcy protection in the face of more than $500 million in damage claims. In this latest civil complaint, an individual referred to as Andy alleges he was sexually molested by the now deceased Raymond Cepeda, who served as a Catholic priest under the Archdiocese until he was removed in 2009. The lawsuit is asking for $5 million in damages. In district court yesterday, Chief Judge Francis Tydinko Gatewood sentencing Alfred Mallet Jr. to 7 years in federal prison for his role in a scheme to bring 345 grams of meth into Guam. The street value of that amount of meth estimated to be about $275,000. The 37-year-old Mallet wiped tears from his eyes during the sentencing yesterday. He apologized to his family and the people of Guam. He said he takes full responsibility for the crime. Mallet's defense attorney, Gloria Rudolph, asked for a reduced sentence, saying Mallet had only minimal participation in the crime, but Judge Gatewood said she was not moved. Mallet admitted to knowing the package contained meth and tracking it on his cell phone, and the judge concluded that showed he was heavily involved in the crime. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Well, thanks, Kevin. You have a good weekend. iConnect giving away a vacation for two to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in their Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan, and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season for winning with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
8:37. I don't know if that's going to happen. Kevin and I were talking about our desires, our dreams, our goals for Monday, and I was thinking, it'd be cool if there was just a lot of crazy stuff going on this weekend. We'd have a lot of junk to talk about on Monday. And he's like, no, I want it to be a nice, quiet, sedate weekend on Guam. Kevin, the legislature goes back into session at 4. So I don't know how quiet or sedate it's going to be on any point here. 8:37 in the morning. Is there traffic today? Was there traffic today? Take a look at the traffic gizmo. As a matter of fact, we did see a little bit of traffic springing up in some of the usual spots. In fact, still a little bit busy over by the new flea market. You might also see some traffic slowing down on your way to Route 8, the intersection at 8, 10, and 16 from Route 8. And the good news now is that traffic will be moving a little bit smoother on Route 8 once you've passed that, once you're going southbound on Route 8, because they've fixed up about 100-foot, maybe 50-foot worth of ugly asphalt in front of that one good intersection that'll get you into Tiedzen. And it's all flat now, and it's all straight, and it's all pretty. And somebody from utility is going to come and screw it up a little bit later on. But for now, enjoy driving on that nice, shiny ribbon of blacktop for about 50 feet.
When you say ugly asphalt, you have to be careful where you put the emphasis.
And then the correct syllable. Yes, I understand what you're saying here. It's 8:38 in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
There's an interesting story on, page 2 of today's Guam Daily Post. According to the Commission on the Chamorro Language and the Teaching of History and Culture of the Indigenous Peoples of Guam, the spelling is Chamorro, capital C, capital H, A-M-O-R-U, not capital C, little h, A-M-O-R-R-O. And Guam's female governor will be referred to as Maga Haga with a little round thing over the A. And the interesting question that I asked somebody was, is that the way they spell Chamorro up in Saipan, where there's other Chamorros? And the answer is apparently no. It's apparently an OOG. OOG. What have I wanted to do here all morning? I played this earlier. Because if you ask me, it's one of the more interesting things that have come out of what is an otherwise dull and lifeless November session of the 34th Guam Legislature. They've all but confirmed that there is going to be a December session. And I'll explain why here in just a second. But one of the pieces of very interesting audio and video came yesterday within, I don't know, about 15 minutes or so of the legislature actually convening for the morning session. And it virtually stopped everything in its tracks. Senator Tom Atta wanted to get a piece of legislation on board that would have provided for the words or more to be incorporated into the budget language, and that would make it so that people that had real properties valued at $10 million or more would be subject to an increase in real property taxes, bringing in an additional $8 million into the coffers of the government of Guam. Now, why we need that, I don't know. I don't think we need to have that additional $8 million in the government of Guam because from everything that I'm seeing, there is no cash shortfall. We gave everybody a holiday last Friday, and the governor's on an airplane, G. Rojas on an airplane, and just seemingly everybody that's we got guys that we're bringing in to fill in these positions all over the place. So clearly there's no cash crisis in the government of Guam. Tom disagrees, thinks there might still be a problem with education if we don't act now. So he said at the legislature, I need this to get put on the agenda. And no less than Fernando Esteves got up and said, no, we're not doing that. And I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, whether he's really standing on the legislative rules about we've got to have a public hearing for all of this, or whether it's just sour grapes because the other day he tried to get a bill that was not on the session agenda on the floor for a conversation, and everybody said, no, you can't do that. So my guess is he's got a pretty watchful eye of what's going on. But this is what it sounded like. This is what it sounded like yesterday in the morning session at the legislature. Hold up. I'm going to hear from Regine here.
The legislature is back in session. There's been a motion to place bill number 374 onto the session agenda. And it is the ruling of the chair that we will place this bill. Shall the decision of the chair be overruled?
There was a motion, Madam Speaker, there was a motion placed on the floor and an objection. It should go to a vote.
This is the ruling of the presiding officer.
It never went to the presiding officer. There was a motion and there was an objection on the floor.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Let's bring some decorum to this body, if you will. I believe the way the standing rules reads is that a member of the body can make a motion to waive, in this case, such as I did, to waive the public hearing and to place the bill on the agenda. It is based on the justifications that I gave that there is an emergency. It is the Speaker's prerogative to determine whether, in fact, she concurs with the statements that there is an emergency. If then she determines that there is an emergency and the body does not agree with it, then it takes 8 votes to overrule the Speaker's decision. That's the way it goes. Read the standing rules. So if she determines that it's an emergency, then get your 8 votes to overrule it.
Point of personal privilege, call of the House.
Ooh, mic drop moment. That's it's like in the war. You say broken arrow, zips in the wire. Tom's not going to take that standing down. Tom is not standing down. Gets up.
We know that's impossible. We got 3 members who are off island, and they're not going to come in
It's not
We
debatable.
got members who
Call to
are
the
over
House.
the court. So all we need to do to conduct business is establish quorum.
Call to the House, Madam Speaker.
And that was it. That occurred at the 25, almost the 26-minute mark. They go until almost the 50 mark with nothing else. You watched the rest of this, then they called, put them into recess for a couple of minutes, and that turned into a long, long time. And all the microphones are off, and you can see everybody kind of going around and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And then they said, "Screw it, lunch." And it was probably Joe S. in Augustin. It was probably Joe S. that was looking around going, "Let's, is it lunchtime? I think it's getting close to lunch. Let's come back at 2. And so they broke and came back at 2, voted on whether or not to put it on the agenda. That failed. And so in talking with Senator Tom Adda this morning, he says, well, that's just one way to do it. So there is going to be a public hearing on the measure, and then almost immediately they're going to try to get it on the session agenda for the December session, which is why I know that there's going to be another session in December. Now, they've decided that they're going to get together today and meet at 4 and continue deliberation and perhaps vote on a number of the bills that have gone into the second reading file. And I guess that's okay, you know, because there are all these amendments and stuff that needs to get engrossed, and the clerk's got to work on stuff, and then the legal's got to work on stuff. And so, I guess they were originally talking about going in at 5. And so this is the way my brain works, because I'm jaundiced that way, right? It kind of makes me crazy when the legislature goes into session late on Friday, because it's Friday and you're going to be stuck in traffic. You're not going to be paying attention, and the media is going to be putting together newscasts for Friday nights, and the print guys are going to be putting together. They're going to be laying down their designs on what the Saturday and Sunday papers are going to be looking like. Will anybody actually be watching the guys over at the legislature and making sure that that there's not going to be any kind of last minute? Oh, just one more thing. Can we bring this up? You know, some crazy legislation has happened, especially when we're talking about emergencies and emergent situations. Some crazier things have happened in times where we've left them on their own and nobody was watching. Josh used to carry around a microphone and a stenographer's pad, catching up on the workings of the legislature and the government. You remember those times, don't you, Joshy?
Oh my gosh, yes I do. I think that was one of my first beats. I was stuck in the court, and then I also was in the legislature.
Right. And so you just never, you know, as soon as you turn your head, all of a sudden, hey, let's give ourselves raises. You wanna? Let's do that.
I remember that.
So this is, you got to keep an eye on them no matter what. Somebody will just take turns. It's your turn to watch. I'm going to do happy hour. You watch, and then I'll come back, and then you can go to happy hour, and we'll do all that. Josh Tenorio on the line from the Guam Visitors Bureau, and the reason why is because tomorrow is going to be K-Pop Saturday.
Yes, that's right. There's a lot of people having K-pop fever down here in Tumon tomorrow. So I think we have like over 12,000 people that have registered so far, and it's pretty amazing. Like nearly half of the people that have registered with their free tickets are from overseas. So it's going to be pretty cool to see all these different people from different countries coming.
But how do we know that they're all coming? I mean, it's one thing to go to a website and sign up for a free ticket. It's a whole nother one to call a travel agent and get on an airplane. Has anybody gone to the airport to make sure that all of the flights coming in from Korea and Japan and Hong Kong, even the Philippines, are coming back jammed with K-pop fans?
I believe in one of our meetings and discussions, they were talking about how they were saying like some flights are full. Coming here. So, I mean, that's a really good reason to come to Guam, because it's a free event for everybody. But I think that's great that there's a lot of demand and interest in coming to Guam in general. So we're really excited. Everything, if you come down to EPAL today, you're going to see a lot of the tents being set up, and everyone just working hard to make sure the perimeter of the concert is safe, and also just all the vendors going to be setting up. It's a lot going on, so lots of good energy to welcome different acts from Korea and we're just really excited for that.
All right, now, have you had a chance, Joshy, to listen to some of these songs by some of these groups? I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, we're doing K-pop at EPAL Beach Park, and it's going to be crazy fun. But I mean, just how accessible is this going to be for somebody like me who speaks zero Korean?
You know, that's a wonderful question. I was actually a few weeks ago.
Wait, that's not entirely true. I do speak some Korean, just enough to get me kicked out of the good buy me drinky bars.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, Colleen Kabito, she's our Korea marketing manager, and I were actually listening to some of the music from Twice and some of the other artists, and we were just kind of familiarizing ourselves with their music and their faces, and you can see why a lot of people are really into it, and I think just in general, music is a universal language that everyone can understand, and if there's a good beat or a good vibe, like people are tuned into that. So, so I think it's for K-pop and this genre of music and the phenomenon that has taken the world. I think that people will can warm up to it, and just keep in mind this is a made-for-TV event, so. NBC's here, and they're going to be shooting this 90-minute special, and it's going to be broadcast to millions of viewers worldwide. I think for their audience, it's 23 million people, and then they have other networks. And so this is a really huge event, and it's big for Guam because it's great exposure for all.
It sounds awesome. It really does. Josh, the reason I've got something else on the screen here, and I'll get around to talking about it in a second. Well, it's just kind of us talking for a moment, but. There's things that people need to know about going. For instance, you were talking about folks signing up for free on the web. I didn't sign up for free. Can I still just go?
Yes, you can. There's going to be a registration table in the main entrance area, but I would highly encourage just going on your phone or going on your computer and going to kpop.visitguam.com, just because we're expecting a lot of people. Like if you're going to stand in that line at the registration table, I could see like a delay in that, and then you have to stand in the regular line to get checked in and go through security baggage check, and just to like decrease your wait time to come in, I would just get your ticket right now. It's super easy and efficient, and the website has all the different rules and just everything you need to know to get there. Also, I think parking is a huge thing that we really wanted to get out. Because there's no public parking at EPAL. It's being cornered off. We have ADA parking on the south side, like closer to Hilton for those that are disabled. But
you're coning off everything else?
Yeah, they're coning off everything else. And there's going to be we actually have event parking and free shuttle services that we've identified. So those event parking sites are going to be at JFK High School, the parking lot there. Also at the Oka lot across from Oka Payless, and then also the Pleasure Island Tumon Central Air Terminal, which is right by across Sandcastle at DFS. So those shuttles will be running starting at 3 p.m. and the last one runs till 10:30. The doors open at the K-pop concert at 4 p.m. and the actual show starts at 6 p.m. with the Netnin Gefpago and then also Skip Entertainment performing for everybody and kicking things off. And then the made-for-TV part will be starting around 7 p.m. all the way through, give or take, 9 p.m., 9:30, and then they'll give time for everyone to wrap up and take their time and go back and get the shuttles to take them back to their parking areas.
Sounds like a lot of organization that has gone into this, and I like. Now, in terms of security, everybody's going to be safe. You're going to have cops down there. You're going to have the G4S ambassadors and those guys running around making sure everybody's safe, right?
Yes, definitely. We've had, I was actually one of the safety security briefings a couple of days ago, and we had GPD and Guam Fire Department and our visitor safety officers and other security just sitting in there and going through the logistics and hammering through what's efficient, what's not. And so there's going to be a lot of presence in Tumon to make sure that everything is safe and everyone's having a great time, and there's nothing that will prevent them from enjoying this free concert.
So are there age limitations?
This is a family-friendly event, so
no alcohol.
Yeah, no alcohol, but we will have food and drinks and different vendors and entertainment and activities for everybody. So, all are welcome, and we just want to make sure that everyone is safe and having a great time.
Gotcha.
And so, just, bring some cash. I believe there's an ATM that will be stationed on site. And then also this is something interesting that our Korea team was telling me, and I had to put into some of our announcements, is that there's a small delegation from Boryong City in South Korea that's going to be promoting their mud festival there. So like their mud is like, I guess it has special healing properties and anti-aging and skincare. And so GVB and Boryong City signed like this MOU to basically cross-promote our events in their hometown and then also them here. So if you're at the concert and you see them, just go up to them, ask them more about this mud festival. There's like these, there's a run geared around it. There's a concert geared around it. There's skincare lines geared around it. Like it's pretty interesting.
Well, then point me in the direction. We'll go running at their 5K. I've never been to Korea. I really want to go, and it sounds like a great excuse here. Ismail is saying, our friend Ismail online says, Josh, the boys missed their Nino Josh.
Yeah, that's my primo DJ.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, he seems to be excited to hear from you. Now, I put on the screen on Facebook Live a second ago an invitation that I received in my WhatsApp here for the Friary Christmas display. It'll be at the Agana Shopping Center starting tomorrow until the 2nd of January from 6 until 9. All are welcome. And I was looking at that, thinking about, wait a second, are we doing anything by way of beautification for the season in Tumon?
Oh, yes, we are. I'm like super excited about it because I'm a huge Christmas fan, and I was just talking with the team here. Are we having like GVB Christmas Village? Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. It's going to be launching on December 17th. The reason why there's a kind of a delay in that is because of shipping. There's supposed to be some of the themed items and equipment that will be brought for the Christmas Village, and there was a delay in shipping. So the team's on it, and we're looking forward to opening night on December 17th. And that's going to be, because there's a delay, that means there's going to be an extension of how it's going to go up. So this is going to go into like the third week of January. So for those that are wondering, is there going to be a GV Christmas Village holiday illumination? Yes, guaranteed there is. It's a family tradition for many people, including me. So
you can see why it's important that I ask about that. There's so many things that are going on, and we're just now getting some word on it. So Friary Christmas display, go and check that out, and then on the 17th or so, the GVB is going to be having theirs. They've already got the choo-choo train and the lights over at the mall, so it's beginning to look and sound and feel a whole lot like Christmas. Joshy, Plumeria Run, you win it tomorrow?
I didn't really chase for it.
What? It's a 10Ks flat. It's Agana.
Oh my gosh. I'll let you, if I see you in the morning. My sister's here, so we have to see her.
She runs too. Bring her.
I think she leaves right before the run. But, if I'm up early, I think I'll try to run and walk.
Wear your short shorts to the airport. I'll see you later, buddy.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Have a great day.
Certainly will. 8:57. I mean, that's what a great way to start the day is you just start with 5K, 10K in Agana, and then goof off for the rest of the day, and then go hit the K-pop scene on at Epal Beach. But it does sound like it's going to be kind of a tricky endeavor for parking. So go to kpopvisitguam.com on the World Wide Web and get all the details that you need to be able to go and successfully hang out at what I think is going to be kind of an interesting spectacle. Look, if only half of the people that they say have signed up for this show up tomorrow, it will be incredible, and it's a free concert, and so I just think it's one of those very, very cool things that is going to be kind of a once in a lifetime deal. So you ought to take advantage of the free entertainment, even if you don't speak Korean. It's all right. A couple of minutes away from 9 o'clock in the morning, Jennifer Ross from Ross Hearing Aids is going to be coming into the studio in a little bit. We'll talk about obviously hearing. And people that you've got in your life that might be exhibiting some hearing issues, and how to take care of that. But we'll also talk to her about being a woman in business and some of the things that she's got to work on a regular basis to maintain a relatively good position in that gig. What? Oh, the what game. I'm a sucker for the what game. You back off, Chico. I invented that. I invented that one. All right, and then what else is there on the table of contents that's going to be worth talking about? I haven't got, if I get time, if I get time, just the scene that must have been district court yesterday was Francis Tadenko Gatewood sentenced this guy to 7 years for his role in a meth smuggling case. And I guess there were tears and letters from the community and all this other stuff. Oh, he's just a good boy. Just, from a poor family, spare him his life. And I'm going, yeah, but think of all the meth zombies that are out there and all the break-ins that have taken place that maybe would not have if he wasn't such an active player in the game. You'd try to think like that, would you? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG. I got you.
They have questions. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Lawmakers reacting after President Trump's former personal attorney pleads guilty to lying to members of Congress.
The news former Trump lawyer and confidant Michael Cohen was pleading guilty to lying to Congress led some to ask lawmakers like Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake if perhaps others lied too.
There's evidence that we can point to that they didn't tell the truth, then certainly, but I don't want to say specific to anybody right now. But yeah, this is not a good development.
Virginia Democrat Senator Tim Kaine says this shows the special counsel Robert Mueller probe is heating up.
It definitely feels like there's an accelerating pace now.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
The president now on his way to Argentina, but before he left, he had this to say about Cohen.
He's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence, so he's lying.
And saying he was running his business while he was campaigning, and there was a good chance he was going to lose, in which case he says he would have gotten back to business. The president announcing he's canceled a planned private meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the G20.
In a tweet, the president says Russia has failed to return Ukrainian ships and sailors that it seized last weekend. The State Department spokesperson says the U.S. has sent a strong message, and the consequence is continued isolation for Russia. Russian state media, citing Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, say the cancellation gives, quote, a couple of more hours for useful meetings for President Putin with the other world leaders at the G20 summit.
Fox's Rich Edson at the Pentagon. Swift water rescue teams have been deployed after flash flooding has hit the same area of Northern California burned out by wildfire earlier this month. There are also reports of several vehicles trapped on a road on the outskirts of Chico. On Wall Street, stocks finished lower. The Dow lost 27, the Nasdaq dipped 18. The S&P fell 5 points. This is Fox News.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
The prosecution continues down its witness list in the federal trial of Mexican drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in New York.
Prosecutors called a Colombian drug lord to the stand to testify. Juan Carlos Ramirez Abadia testified that his South American cartel trafficked drugs into the U.S. in large part through El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel. Abadia said much of the drugs, about 400,000 kilograms, flowed into New York starting around 1989. He also said he met with El Chapo more than 10 times in the business dealings between cartels. Abadia gave an indication he may have been concerned about his appearance, admitting to having plastic surgery to change his looks. El Chapo is on trial for drug trafficking and money laundering. He faces life in prison. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker in Tennessee touting the approach being taken against the opioid epidemic, including a new abuse-fighting team in Appalachia and the administration's focus on prosecuting fentanyl cases. A popular fast food chain could be up for sale.
Jack in the Box is exploring options that could include a sale of the company after divesting its Qdoba brand earlier this year, according to Reuters. Sources say the fast food chain started talks with potential buyers this month, including private equity firms. A sale will be the latest in a series of deals in the fast food industry this year, including the sale of Sonic to Arby's owner Inspire Brands for over $2 billion. Jack in the Box has more than 2,000 restaurants. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
A founding member of the Massachusetts theater company Shakespeare and Company, who served as actor, director, writer, and composer, has died. Dennis Krausnick was 76. The company says Krausnick died at his home after a battle with cancer and Parkinson's disease. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Papa Day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us Pika's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
We love doing this commercial here because it allows us to use a very, very specific sound effect because we're talking about the King's crazy holiday menu. It's zany is the word that I'm looking for. Madcap, kooky, you know, just we've got all these things that they want to. Basically, they've a bunch of flavors that they want to be able to roll out. It's the holiday season, so you're going to see a lot more turkey on the menu and ham things on the menu. But in this case, they want me to spend a little bit of time talking about their crazy breakfast. And spend a little bit of time, actually too much time already, talking about the Fruity Pebbles pancakes that they've got on special there. How about this Hawaiian French toast? So they've got this great Hawaiian sweet bread. Maybe it's King's Hawaiian sweet bread with French toasted with powdered sugar and syrup on that. Yes. Is that crazy good for you? Yeah, find that for breakfast at King's.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
And the program also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. The guys over at Guam Regional Medical City who not just say your first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. They actually cracked 9 chests this month. And so they're just crazy about it. Hey, and maybe it's something that you're going to want to do. So check your doctor. See if you can get a referral to hang out with Dr. Conception. And then who else there is? Did I get everybody? Oh, American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Click.
Helen Keller once said, blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people. At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
I'm not your father, kid. I'm just playing around. It's Friday, can you tell? I've been in this ridiculous mood all morning long. Cold Stone Creamery is the ultimate ice cream experience. Swing by there, and they've gone from ultimate practically. Is it possible to go even further than ultimate? They've done that there. Pie Scream Cakes, which is ice cream with pie and cake elements all infused into the things. I want you to try it. Sea salt caramel ice cream, yellow cake, and graham cracker pie crust. Scrumptious, I think, is the word that you're looking for. Try it. Bring it to the next office get-together for the holidays, and you will become the hero. They'll make you the president of the company if you do this. So try that today.
The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
8 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, I've been in this frisky zone just about all morning long, and maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's Friday. I had my extra Joss this morning and about 18 cups of coffee, or maybe the part of it is because I knew that Jennifer was going to be coming in. So this is not the first one that I've done, but seeing as how this is like the fourth Friday in a row that I've had an attractive, accomplished woman sitting in that chair, I think I'm going to go ahead and commit and name this. So at 9 o'clock every Friday, I'm going to have a Friday face.
You know, you own the business, so you can set it up that way if that's what you like. And thank you for the compliment. My goodness.
I've been complimenting you for what, the last 30 years?
You know, I've known you, I think I've known you at least 30 years, at least 30. Yep.
Yes. So I've known you for a long, long time, and, you know, always like to start off the interviews or whenever we see each other, you know, by you know, how impressed I was that you had this incredible modeling career in Japan.
Thank you.
Does it feel, you ever get that feeling like, oh, that was somebody else?
It does. It does feel like somebody else because sometimes we'll be doing things, we're setting up pictures to do, like we're going to shoot pictures for the ads or for the office or something like that. And I'm not so comfortable doing that anymore. I don't know which way looks right sometimes. I'm not really sure sometimes.
I should probably introduce her. This
used to be natural, but not so much.
And that'll happen, right? Jennifer Ross from Ross Hearing Aids in the studio is my special Friday guest here.
Hi, everyone.
It's great. It's always nice to see you, and always nice to get caught up on what you are doing and what you are doing here that is different, say, from the last time that we had to get together.
Well, the neat thing about what I do is that it is constantly changing, constantly getting better. And I don't think there's anyone out there who's worn a hearing aid or has lived with someone who wears a hearing aid that would say hearing aids are better than natural hearing. That's just simply, I don't think, ever going to be a true fact. So if you are in that position where you need help with your hearing, the good news is that the technology has just advanced by leaps and bounds. And it's so much clearer to hear through a hearing aid now than it ever used to be. There's so many more controls and adjustments that I can make and that the user can make within their own different listening environments to adjust sound to make it natural and to make it comfortable.
Well, let's go back to the beginning of this. Now, how do you know if you've got a hearing problem? Because it's not one of those. I don't think, unless it goes away completely.
I'm sorry, what? I think that other people around you will point it out to you pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so then you'll go into some form of denial. You'll call it selective hearing and all of that. But bottom line is you're going to be missing certain things. And people say, well, I can still hear. I don't need a hearing aid because I can still hear. Well, yes, of course you can. But whether somebody said sync or think, whether somebody says extra fries or exercise, very different meanings.
Wow.
Yeah, those higher frequencies really play a part in the clarity of speech. And so to be able to really easily understand what's being said, you need high frequency hearing. You need to be able to hear those high frequencies.
But aren't the high frequencies for some people, i.e. men, the first thing that go?
I'm afraid so. And it's not for men. It's the way it's laid out in the cochlea. Those are usually the ones first damaged by noise.
It's a family show. I'd rather we didn't talk about my cochlea on the air.
Frankly, I'm a little bit crushed that extra fries and exercise are not the same thing.
What was that thing that we were doing a few months ago? You remember there was that big internet deal that was going on, and they played the same word.
Right.
Yes,
remember that?
It's called the Gurk effect.
The what?
The Gurk effect. It's because that's the guy's name who came up with it. But it's a sensation and perception thing. And if you don't see the mouth and somebody is saying ba, 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 ga, 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 it all sounds the same when you can't visually see where the tongue is.
Okay, so I could hear the B for ba, and I could
you
hear
heard the ga.
But ga.
In the video, you can't see. I don't know. You can't tell. It's the same thing he's saying over and over, but it sounds different when you don't see his mouth.
So, so people that are listening on the program right now, is it possible that they might have heard the same sound?
Not
6
Gurk
times?
effect. The McGurk. It's McGurk. MC Gurk. I think that's what it is.
Okay, well that's what I heard.
McGurk effect.
But so I could hear all of the syllables that you were saying, the B, A, and the G, A's. Is it possible that people listening to the broadcast right now
did not?
They might have only heard the B, A.
They only heard a sound followed by the ah. The vowel sound was easily audible and easily heard, but the consonant before it, the B or the G, was not necessarily as easily.
So are there other examples of that? because what I want to do is to see if there's somebody listening right now that would have that symptom. And is that something? Is it a bad symptom to have?
Well,
or is it natural or?
To not be able to tell the difference?
Yeah. I guess that would be bad.
I'd say come in and have a hearing.
Colorblind for the hearing, like being colorblind with your ears.
Yeah, in a sense, because if you're missing certain frequencies and then missing certain colors, I suppose that could be a reasonable analogy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I find it fascinating.
Well, it's because it is fascinating that you can say different things with your mouth, but they are heard differently by other.
It is your brain that understands what you're hearing, not your ears. Your ears' only job is to take sound waves and funnel them up to the brain. The brain is what says a pancake is something to eat and a ball is something to throw. Your ear just knows that as a collection of sound waves, a bunch of different frequencies all mixed together.
But you hear the pattern of those frequencies and those, and your brain makes the assemble.
And then if you don't hear well and you let that go on for long enough, your brain does start to forget certain sounds. And then when you start hearing them again, they're not as clear to you. They don't make as much sense to you. Your brain doesn't pick up on them as quickly. There's all sorts of interferences on a cognitive level when you let hearing loss go and don't get it treated, don't get better hearing as soon as possible.
And as you point out, I mean, there's technology that is out there.
Technology's out there,
and the great the strides that they've taken, I want to say, in just the testing and diagnosis of hearing issues as well.
That's all been fairly similar over the years. There hasn't been a great deal of change in how we test.
Well, it's been a while.
Instrument that
for people in my age group, executive level people, we might not ever. I mean, I go and get my hearing, my executive physical in the Philippines, right?
Yep.
They don't do my hearing.
They don't?
No.
That's not part of it?
I've never
yeah,
had all kinds of other prodding and poking and probing.
Yeah, but not your ears,
but
right?
Not my ears, not my vision either. So
it's such an invisible disability, isn't it? When someone has a hearing loss, you don't know that. You just think, are they ignoring me? Did they not? Are they not that smart? Maybe they didn't understand. I mean, there's all sorts of ideas you can come to that are incorrect.
But I'm enjoying. I don't know what I'm enjoying more. The psychology of what's happening when you don't pay attention to your hearing, and all of a sudden you find yourself having difficulties communicating. People having difficulties communicating with you. But the idea that you might forget what the pattern sounds like over time.
Your brain over time. Wow. Yes. Yeah.
So how do we fix that?
Come in, have a hearing test. We can first find out whether or not there's an issue, right? Because it's true. Some people do mumble. You know, when it's everybody's mumbling. Everybody's mumbling is the common conclusion that we come to, and we don't want to admit we might have trouble hearing. And sometimes that's the case, but that's not usually the case. Usually there is some hearing loss. And if there is, then let's try this instrument. Let's program this one. Let's see how this works. Let's see how this feels. Is this comfortable? And we go through a series of trial and error, and we get it tweaked to where the person is hearing as best as they possibly can. Yes.
Are there other factors that will affect my hearing? And I'm remembering a time where it was an entire weekend, and every sound in the house sounded like I was sitting next to the galley in an airplane. You know, just it was a lot of clacking. It was crinkly noises and things like that. Everything had this harsh overtone to it, and I couldn't get rid of it. I Googled it, and eventually they said, well, maybe you're just not getting enough magnesium, and so have a multivitamin with magnesium, and then the problem went away. So are there other factors like that, dietary factors, other physiological factors besides being around loud noises or just having too many birthdays that can affect your hearing?
There probably are, but they would be individual to a certain person. There are certain people with dairy issues. Dairy does have an effect for some people. It doesn't for me, but it does for some people. I once was located next to an ENT's office, and I learned that through being there next to the ENT about dairy's effect on your ears, nose, and throat. Because yes, there is an effect. But I don't want to get all into that aspect of it because I am neither a dietitian nor am I a medical doctor, so I don't want to venture too far down that path. But there are many things that can affect your
You're a
ability to hear and
technician,
understand.
among other things. You know, I remember showing you my wire room in the back. Nobody get any ideas, but I remember showing her the wire room for the radio stations. Kind of my skunk works in there, and you know, I think the remark was, "Wow, that's the biggest soldering iron I've ever seen." Because mine is, you know, for working on discrete circuits, right?
Yes.
But you've got these things. You've got little,
precision tools, and
I mean, because the electronics that go into contemporary hearing aids these days are crazy small, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But see, it's kind of like with cars. There was a time when you could work on your car.
Mm-hmm.
And now cars are computers, and you really kind of can't, because they don't even make the tools work to fix your. I mean, you have to get a special tool made by Honda to fix that Honda or whatever, right? Same with hearing aids.
It's the same
Back
thing with
in
the
the day,
cell
I
phone.
used.
We're not
Same with cell
repairing the cell phone.
I don't
We're
know.
just-
Were we ever repairing our phones? But our cars. But I used to wire hearing aids. I used to get pre-wires, and then I used to build shells, and I used to put them together and change out receivers and mics and solder all these hair fine wires. But I don't really do much of that anymore, because now they're all computers, and it's a circuit board that's being replaced by the manufacturer when something goes out.
So we're not going to bother fixing it anymore. Frankly, you can't fix it. It's too small.
It depends on what it is.
The problem is in the chip. It's at the microscopic level.
A lot of times that's where it is now. So yeah, that's good with technology advancing to that degree. But it also makes it harder for me to troubleshoot.
Are there? I'm tempted. The other day, I was looking at some headphones. I'm in between. I haven't really. I've got an iPhone and I've got a Samsung, and the truth is, I love them both. And there are things that the Samsung does that the iPhone does, and vice versa. But one of the things that I found is I kind of like the way the iPhone sounds in my headphones. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I'm going to go see if I can snag a couple of Bluetooth headphones specifically to work with this, because as anybody knows, the new iPhones don't come with a headphone jack.
That's right.
You got to get the $13 adapter, which I have, but I figured, all right, let me move with the technology. So I tried out some Bluetooth headsets. And I really liked the sound of it. And one of the other things I liked was I was able to change the signature of the wave on the phone, and it changed the EQ in the headsets. Are there, with what you're doing over at Ross Hearing Aids, do you have hearing devices, or medical hearing devices for people with actual impairments that you can kind of tweak electronically?
Yes.
On an app?
Yes. And it works better with iPhone than with Android, because with Android, there's so many different platforms that they can't make a hearing aid for every one of those different models of Android. An iPhone is an iPhone. So that was taken care of easily. So yeah, you can do a whole bunch of different settings and sound adjustments within it. It's like having your own little equalizer board in your phone.
So I mean, but you help people set that up, right?
I do,
and so I could go to you and say, I don't need a hearing aid, but I'd sure like to be able to get something that will allow me to tune to craft the actual sound that comes out of the drivers in these headsets.
Yes, and I think that is. I'd have to look into it for doing it through your in-ear monitors. Yeah, that I haven't tried to do with the app, because that works through the
Bluetooth
hearing, right? The hearing. I'd have to look. I can look at. But you know what? This is the fun part of what I do. It's always advancing, and I'm always learning right alongside my patients. And sometimes I have patients who know more than I do about things, and I would say you're probably in the category, because you're with electronics all the time.
Yeah.
You could teach me some stuff, and then bam.
But see,
and that's what makes it fun.
That was the thing that surprised me. I figured that all these the Bluetooth headphones were going to do, or Bluetooth headpieces were going to do, was to just take whatever audio that the phone was sending it.
Right, and then
but the phone
bring it
can change that curve, and I thought that's very, very interesting.
That's because of the advancement in iPhone.
Yeah. Well, I thought being able to put Bluetooth on top of multiple drivers, on top of all of the other and a battery, and this little thing, no bigger than the edge of my pinky, literally that small. I thought, oh my God, what an incredible kind of technological advance this is.
Yes,
and I'm sure they make them even smaller now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm off for training a couple times every year, and every time I go, it's something new. And what will they think of next?
Not so much inner ear, but implants.
Yeah, and that's a different thing, because we don't have that out here. Cochlear implants are not for people who can be helped by a hearing aid. You have to have gone to the point where a hearing aid is no longer helpful. then you can become a candidate for that. And that's a surgical procedure, and as far as I know, is not performed on island.
Walk me through a little bit of that. So, I mean, there's multiple bones in the ear.
Well, there's 3 bones. The 3 smallest bones in your body are in your middle ear.
And those go and they attach to something else that eventually turns into a nerve that goes to your brain. So there's a couple of places where you can run into problems, is my point. So, I mean, what is the most common thing that we see here?
Common thing is noise or age-induced hearing loss, and the noise is affecting the hair cells in your cochlea of your inner ear. So you got 3 parts to the ear. You've got the external ear, then you have the middle ear, and then the inner ear. So the nerves in the inner ear get damaged from noise and from aging. I also sometimes see a block of wax in the ear canal that's blocking sound that is a physical barrier. Just simply go to the doctor, have it removed, and voila, you're back in business. Sometimes it's as simple as that. But if you don't do anything about it and you just keep sticking Q-tips in your ear trying to clean it out, you're just making the problem worse.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Impacting that wax in your ear. And
if you go to any drugstore in the world, you can get yourself a little bulb.
Yeah, but you don't want to be sticking anything in your ear without having it visualized first to see what's in there.
Oh, really?
Don't just run to the store and go get wax removal assuming that you have wax, because maybe you don't. Maybe you have a hole in your eardrum and now you've just put liquid into your middle ear, which is a big no-no. So don't do things like that.
It could be some kind of
bad
infection.
idea. Go and, well, who knows, right? So you go and have your ear evaluated and then go from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, what's the part that goes bad if a diver goes down too deep without some kind of relief?
If you can't do the Valsalva maneuver and
Clear
equalize
your-
pressure, you'll perforate your eardrum, burst your eardrum
Can you
because of the pressure. And I think I'm a diver. I cannot imagine being able to tolerate the pain that would cause.
Right.
I would just go up until the pain stopped. I wouldn't keep going down. You can't.
equalize if
I've
you
only had
can't.
trouble equalizing once in my life, and it was the most painful thing I'd ever experienced. I can't imagine pushing it to the point of an eardrum.
Where you're actually breaking
burst.
something in
Yeah,
there. How do you
no.
come back from that? I mean, if you have perforated eardrum, is there a way to come back?
Yeah, there's surgical procedures that can correct perforations. Yeah, and
All the way in there?
no, well, it's not all the way in there. I mean, your eardrum. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Your finger from this segment to your knuckle, on your index finger from the first segment to the knuckle, the length of that is the length of your ear canal from the opening to your eardrum.
Get out.
That's what I was taught in school.
So just that far in is
So
where the
your
eardrum
ear,
is.
yeah. So if you were to, there's your opening, there's your eardrum right there. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to poke that with a Q-tip or something. It's pretty far in, but
See, now Mike and I are old radio guys, and back in the old radio days, we used to get these long single-ended Q-tips, right, for cleaning for cleaning the heads on the cartridge machines here, because you didn't want to have to open it up every time. So we got long Q-tips, and found that those were the absolute best for cleaning DJ ears.
Okay.
But it's a miracle.
You
that I
know
don't
the
have
old
any.
adage: don't stick anything in your ear smaller than your elbow. Or...
Yeah, but like you could get your elbow up to where your ear is.
That's the whole point. Don't stick anything in your ear. Bam.
9:26 in the morning. What's the strangest thing that you've seen in practice?
Well, I think the funnest story, because it just made me go like this. Okay, fisherman in Maurizo, picture this. He's on the pier at night under the street light there, and there's a lot of moths flying around, and he's using that light to bait his hook. Well, a moth flew in his ear, and he's like, but he's gonna finish fishing because he's the fisherman in Maurizo, and he's gonna finish. So he just does, the thing on his ear with his hand till he can stun the moth to stop moving enough to stop bothering him, but it's still alive. He told me that he saw me after week 2, but he said that he believes it was alive for the entire first week because it took that long for it to stop moving, and he finally just put water in his ear to drown it. And it was a full-on with both wings and the full body.
Did you get it out?
Yeah, I was right. It wasn't hard to get it out.
Because we're not talking about this incredible distance,
because I can see what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
but he couldn't see what he was doing, and for him to try to get it out, it was impossible. All he was doing was pushing it further into his ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that happen a lot? A lot of bug in the ear stories that you
Just
get?
a few. I've only had a few, really.
Do we have earwigs? Does that happen here?
I haven't seen that. I really don't see a lot of that. I saw a peanut once. It was kind of covered in furry, moldy stuff that had been in this guy's ear for quite some time.
Unbelievable story. There was always, I've got a Lee on the line that wants to share some information about a free program for the hearing impaired. I think I know which Lee this is. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Ray.
I do know this, Lee. How you doing?
First time caller. Congratulations on your show. Took me a while to find you.
I'm here, 93.3. Tell the world. Tell the world. Share it on Facebook. Put it on social.
Oh, Facebook gives me a challenge, but I'll try.
You know what? It's less challenging anymore than Twitter. I got to be careful with Twitter. Twitter, as I mentioned yesterday, has become the most unhappy place in all of social media. There's just all these people that are unhappy or brain damaged or both, but feel like they need to stand up on the microblog and tell the world about it. So this is, I'm trying to remember the name because it's been a while since you and I have talked. Trying to remember the name of your outfit.
But I won't even mention their name because
Oh, it's all different now.
But I'm an advocate for people experiencing vision loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've actually gone through a certification program to be a vision rehabilitation therapist. So where this segues into your current discussion is that for people who have both a loss of vision and loss of hearing, so not totally deaf or totally blind, but just experiencing loss that affects their activities of daily living, there is a program called I Can Connect it's actually out of the FCC, that gives access to people with dual sensory loss, communication devices like iPhones, computers. So if they are eligible, it's also income eligible. So you'd have to have vision loss and hearing loss that affects your activities of daily living, and then you would have to meet an income eligibility threshold, which is about, I believe, $42,000 per annum for a single person and $63,000 for a couple, for two people, household of two. Then all you have to do really is apply, and if you're eligible, they'll do an assessment to see what equipment might help you, communication devices, and it also comes with training. So it's a great program. I'll give you.
Are you my local contact here? I'm at their website now. It's icanconnect.org on the World Wide Web, and right there at the top, I Can Connect provides people with both significant vision and hearing loss with free equipment and training. I Can Connect, a national program with local contacts that helps people stay connected with family, with friends, family, and the world. So I'm going to click on Find Your Local Contact and see if your name pops up.
And I do believe the number will connect you to someone in San Diego. But since then, we have local trainers. We have 3 local trainers and 1 in the CNMI. And if you call me, I'll be able to put you in contact with them.
Lee, quick question. Are they associated with DSID or Office of Vocational Rehab in Saipan? DSID out here?
Because they are required to be connected with an agency, they are connected through DSID and DVR. So the local agency here is DSID DVR. And then, but they're really just the referring agency because they can't actually do the assessment. And so
all of that. Those places have been really good resources for third-party funding for people. And you mentioned an income criteria. I think with OVR and DVR, there may be programs available where income is not even considered. It's your ability to either attain or maintain your employment, not your income level. It's not a DVR
program at all. So they're just kind of the place that they had to land on Guam for the program to be in effect. And so there is an income eligibility requirement. So it's not a DSID or DVR program.
Yours is not, but
there are some that don't have that requirement. Yeah, and I've worked with a number of these. So if this is something that you feel like you might need the third-party funding, or you want more information, definitely come through our office because we'll help you walk that path.
What's that, Lee?
Yeah, this program I'm talking about is fast. So the assessment could be done as early as next week.
Well, it looks like you can almost get it done online.
2 months.
Yeah.
So the application is online, and I'll just give the contact information. So the phone number is 8476. That's how you can contact me. If you're in the CNMI, I'm sorry I don't have her number, but Carla, so Carla Torres, she was with GSAT here in the past. So she is the trainer in the CNMI. So people in Saipan, I'm sure you know who Carla is. And then you could also call GSAT at 735-2490 and speak with Leah, because Leah's also one of the trainers.
Dude, it's good. It's good getting caught up with you, Lee. I got to take a break, but I've got all the numbers, and iConnect.org on the web is the address. And if you've got somebody that has got these dual losses, what's that?
Thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. I'll talk to you pretty soon. 888-8255 is the phone number. 9:33 in the morning is iConnect time. Connect longer for less with a bunch of people. Frankly, want to get rid of you. If they want to send you to Manila, is the thing. No, we'll give you a ticket so you can come back as well. How do you do this? How do we get set up to go to Manila? Go to iConnect and sign up for any 12-month plan, internet or mobile or push to talk, and you are instantly eligible for the grand prize that we'll do before New Year's to send you and a friend, or you can go twice to Manila and go hang out at the Holiday Inn Express that they've got out there. There is some equipment. We were talking about gizmos and technology, and I was looking at this iConnect.org. So we'll look at some of the equipment that they've got, and then you can tell me about your experiences with some of those, as well as some of the other things that they're doing over at Ross Hearing Aids. 9:34. Be right back.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
Tell me just accessories. Jennifer Ross and I talking about Jennifer Ross, and we're also talking about hearing aids, and we're also talking about some of the incredible technology that is out there. So I clicked on a couple of things just because I was kind of curious as to what might be out there and available for people that have got hearing issues, and frankly, it doesn't look all that much different than stuff that you can find over at Micropac Audio, right? Yeah. Because it's basically we're talking about hearing. There's a lot of the similar forms and factors now. The AfterShokz Sports M3 bone conduction headset with microphone, AfterShokz Sports M3 headphones, yada, yada, yada. But this is interesting to me because it's using bone conduction.
Yep, bone conduction. So that just amplifies. When we do a test and we test how well your nerves are responding, we're bypassing the eardrum and the middle ear space. We're putting the beep tones right over the cochlea, right on top of those hair cells.
Yeah.
And then that goes straight up. And people are surprised. Well, wait a minute. Put it over my ear so I can hear. I won't be able to hear it. You're putting it. It's not on my ear. It's behind my ear. It's like you'll hear it. You will hear it.
Can I tell you what's
amazing?
amazing?
And then people are shocked when they hear better when sound is here than here.
That's the amazing part.
Yes.
I was not ready for that. I thought it would be dull and muffled and all of this other stuff. But
then you found what?
But then you realize just how interconnected everything is in your head.
Well, that's how you know that the
ear.
problem is in front of those nerves. The problem is conducting that sound to the cochlea. To the cochlea, yes.
Yeah. I mean, so that will become, when you try it, it will blow your mind. And the nearest equivalent to that, the last time I had my mind blown by bone conduction was I had a minor surgery earlier in the year to remove a couple of calcium bumps on my head. And the guy says, you're going to hear this. You won't feel it, but you will hear it. And I said, yeah, okay, fine, let's get on with the procedure. And sure enough, the guy comes over and he's got this little tiny mallet and a little tiny chisel after he'd made the incision into my skull and popped it off. But That noise was different than the other noise, which came along a few minutes later. He says, okay, well, this is looking good. Tell you what, let me just smooth this down.
And did he turn that?
Got a file, Jennifer, and started filing down the bone in my head, and I could hear it. And it resonated in my entire body.
Yes, I can imagine.
Oh,
it was loud, too, I'm sure.
I could not turn it down.
Yeah.
I could not turn it down. Yeah. So it whatever it was, it hit the max volume button on me. And I don't know that I ever want to do that again, but bone conduction is a real thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So we were talking about in the break about some of the things that the current crop of hearing aids can do, and in fact, I know there's an athletic set of headphones that you can buy out there that go in your ear and will talk with your phone the same way that your smartwatch will talk to your phone. And it freaked me out when I found out that they were doing that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, artificial intelligence is here, and it is in hearing aids, in the higher level hearing aids now. So it can keep track of your steps and report back to you how many steps you're taking, and it can keep track of your brain health as well. And by that, it monitors how you're handling conversations. Are you engaging with another person in back and forth conversation, active listening, or are you a passive listener? Are you just listening to the audio from songs and movies and podcasts, but not interacting?
Well, I guess it would know when you're expressing it, when you're saying something.
It's artificial intelligence, and it's advanced, and it knows. It's Big Brother, and I don't know.
What are some of the other does it track any other physiology? I mean, will it?
It has the ability to know if you fell. It can send a call to 911 for a fall. And you have to program it for this. And it can incorporate Google Translate. So your hearing aid can now translate other languages
for you. Yes,
no,
you're making that up.
No, I'm not making it up. The Livio, it's called the Livio AI. Livio is the model, artificial intelligence. Yes. And these are features that are part of the Livio AI.
What you're describing is what Scott Adams referred to as the Babelfish.
Is that what? Okay.
Or the tower Babelfish, whatever you want to say. It's but basically what it was is this science fiction fish. It was an actual fish that you put in your ear, and the fish had this great utility, and it was able to translate any language in the known universe into whatever
Google
it is that you can hear.
Google can do that for you now. Google on your phone does it. It's just that now it also happens on your hearing aid.
So you've got a Babelfish in your ear now, in the hearing aid.
Yep.
So if somebody comes up to you speaking Japanese, your hearing aid will translate to English.
The way that Google Translate does for you. Yes. Do you love it or do you hate it? I don't know. The look on your face is like a mix between I love this and hate this all at the same time.
Because
we're old school. We played outside when we were little. We didn't have all this technology, right?
And if you wanted to know another language, you had to learn another language. If you wanted to do something, you had to actually do it, as opposed to letting the technology take care of it for you. And so I worry that we're going to have a generation of kids that don't know how to write cursive, don't know how to read.
Oh, that's
cursive.
already here.
I know.
I'm trying to make sense out of intake sheets, and I see hearing loss younger and younger and younger now. And a lot of kids are involved in professions that expose them to a great deal of noise. Baristas, my goodness, the sound, the output of some of those coffee makers is shocking.
Okay, so
you can get an app on your phone to measure how loud it is.
Oh, I've got a couple of apps on my phones that I used when we were building the studios here at the radio station. I wanted to make sure that I had achieved. I knew what the noise floor was in the room before the work started, and as the work continued, I was making regular checks to make sure that noise floor was getting lower and lower and lower, because we like to work in soundproof rooms, or rooms that are as soundproof as practical. But you said something about kids coming in, and it's getting younger and younger, and then you talked about professions like baristas. Those are 19 and 20-year-old kids.
A lot of times it is, isn't it?
I'm just showing our age. Is my point. We start referring, because still, to me, when you say kid, I'm thinking about 7, 8.
Oh, no, I don't work with children in that age range anyway. I work with mainstream adult. I should point that out there. I work with 18 and over. Unless it's a special case scenario and there's just absolutely no other option for somebody, then I might see them. But I refer otherwise. I generally work mainstream.
So where would they go?
For
like a referral, if a little kid that's coming up, just having a real problem hearing.
Usually their class sends them over to Chief Brody, first stop. David Zeber's over there. He's an audiologist that tests most of the kids, too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think there's some interesting things being done with the testing as well, where you could find out what the hearing abilities of a baby are
Yeah.
while it's asleep.
Yeah, they used to have that newborn testing in the hospital. I don't know if that's an up and running piece
How does
of
that work?
equipment. It has electrodes that they attach to the head, and it works on a click stimulus that fires an automatic response from the brain when they make the click stimulus. I haven't administered one of those tests, and they are out of my scope of practice, but that's generally the principle
I
of
see.
it. It triggers an automatic response.
So baristas, yeah, they make a lot of noise. Guys in the radio
Anything-
business with headphones.
Look at it like this.
Construction for sure.
Construction for sure. Airport, proximity to aircraft. Anytime you have to shout to have a conversation at an arm's length, that's kind of a general rule of thumb for how loud is too loud. And then it depends, then it becomes a function of how long you're exposed to that noise over time. So,
Are there places where you won't go because it's too noisy, even though it's not in an industrial setting? I know you and I are probably
are you thinking
about the
about
same.
like nightclubs and things like that? And
No,
that's just
like
because I'm
restaurants.
old.
I'm not,
restaurants.
and I'm not going to say the name of it, but there's a place that I always I like the food there.
Yeah.
Is the point, and I go in there and they
But
haven't done-
acoustically, it's
yeah,
terrible.
They're very challenging.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of clatter, the plates, and all the kitchen noises. And,
You know, every Thursday evening, I get together with my friends. We're called LIPS, the League of Interesting People Society. Do you love it? I love it. And it's an ever-changing group of fun people that are on Guam. And we eat at different restaurants. So since the last couple of years doing this, I've had a chance to go to a lot of different restaurants. It's a problem because acoustically, restaurants are not meant to be well padded. Your room is perfect. You've got carpeting on the walls.
Oh, this is a
Sound
special acoustic material.
behaves in here, but you go to places out there where they have to keep all the surfaces for cleaning purposes, for sanitation purposes, solid surfaces on the floors, the walls, the ceiling, the tables, and sound is bouncing everywhere. So even a person with normal hearing has challenges when there's enough ambient noise going on. Yeah, and it's not pleasant.
No,
it is not pleasant.
Like I said, I make that face, I grimace and just kind of hold my nose because I literally love eating in this place. It's a place I like to go to about once. There was another place I went to, and they had a boom box in this, and as I said, I loved eating the food there. And I would go back, except they had the boombox speakers at ear level. So as you were sitting at the table, you couldn't carry on a conversation because there were boom boxes in four corners of the room that were firing exactly where my ears and mouth were.
Yeah, somebody was not. Well, it was set up probably by someone quite young.
Yeah. Put those up there, if you will, and stick those. It's not a nightclub; it's a restaurant, and I want to be able to hear everybody and go through all of those kinds of. What's the we talked about one of the craziest things. What's the biggest misconception about hearing aids and hearing aid technology?
The biggest misconception.
Yeah. What's the myth that you always find yourself dispelling?
I think that a lot of people think that they're going to be unsightly, which they're not, not anymore. And I think people also think that they're going to be outrageously expensive. Yes, they have a high purchase price to them, but they're not always outrageously priced. There's a lot of.
So number one, we stopped making them ugly.
Well, yeah, they're not
industrial.
big, clunky, and ugly. So they're attractive looking, or they're so small they're very discreet. And then price wise, they've come down a lot in price. So we do payment plans as well.
As the technology, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's microchips anymore, and we figured out how to make microchips fairly cheap, and we can make a zillion of them at a time.
There's two reasons why I think prices come down. And as much as I'm not a fan of over-the-counter hearing aids, they have brought pricing down because there's more product in the market. So the major manufacturers of hearing aids are not the only people making hearing aids anymore.
Wait, over-the-counter hearing aids?
Yeah, you've heard of over-the-counter hearing aids, I'm sure. You can go online and buy an amplifier that looks like a device that fits in your ear. It's not going to fit like your in-ear monitor fits right now because it's not custom to your ear.
Right.
But it's going to be small enough that it will be in the ear canal vicinity is, I guess, the best way to put it. Most people end up not being all that happy with the results of these unless they have a very flat loss because it's going to amplify all different frequencies.
All the frequencies, right?
At
So
the
we're
same
not
amount.
trying to compensate at one level or another.
Exactly.
Just
So
make the world
everything louder, right? And it's a general amplifier. And so because those came out on the market, a lot of people that are afraid of the four-figure price tag on hearing aids will go online and buy something for a few $100s. and end up not liking it and end up getting a properly fitted hearing aid later anyway. But those have caused the manufacturers of the devices iFit to really drop them down. Yeah, take a look at their pricing structure and bring it down a bit.
Well, then
I think that's good. That's good for the consumer. It's good for everybody.
Well, I mean, as more and more people will suffer less from hearing loss,
Precisely.
and more of their families will suffer less because they've got somebody in the office or in the home that is displaying these problems with hearing. Yeah. It's just kind of interesting to me that you talk about over the counter hearing aids the same way. So people will be able to go and say, this is what I'd like. I'd like more low end, or I'd like more high end, or I'd like to make everything louder.
And some people can't even articulate what they need. They just know that know that I hear, but I don't understand what they're saying.
It's like reading glasses, though. I mean, all of us. I mean, over-the-counter reading glasses. I always thought that was a pretty interesting concept when I turned 30 or so and decided I needed reading glasses. But I still to this day feel like I am getting the wrong reading glasses. I don't know if that makes...
Maybe it needs to be more advanced than that.
Go
see your eye doctor. Hello.
And I got to wait in line. I got to do all this other stuff. Tell you what, I feel like this is a 2.5 year. That's what I'm feeling like. There's a Jerry on the line with a question for you. Good morning, Jer.
Hi. Good morning.
You don't need to put your headphones on. You can hear it from here. Go ahead, Jennifer Ross from Ross Hearing Aids in the studio here.
It's ironic. I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Stand by.
Well, I hear you 5 by 5. I can hear you better. Or am I coming in better?
Yeah, now you are.
So it was a problem on your side, hey Jerry?
It's not my phone. Every time I call the point, I have a problem.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, one of these days, send me an email. Tell me what the problems are. I'm not sure that there's anything I can fix because, like I said, I got you coming in 5 by 5 here. I'm coming in 5 by 5 there. So somewhere else aside from my building is where the issue is.
Yeah, because I have my volume turned all the way up, and speakerphone, it's still having an issue. Or my Bluetooth in the car, I'm having an issue with that. But anyways, talking about hearing, I have tinnitus in both ears. This is for your guest.
No, I'll help you.
You're Army veteran. And I've been exposed to so much loud noise, it's pathetic. I was field artillery. I was also infantry. I worked on the flight line with jet engines. I worked on humongous generators. And it's taken a toll on my hearing because the ringing is 24/7. Is there any way for me to get any kind of help as far as devices are concerned?
Yeah, have you ever heard about masking or masking techniques?
No.
Okay, so masking is where, first of all, the sound that you're hearing is something that is not in the environment, as you know. It's only something that you're hearing. And so through a process of elimination, we test to match that tinnitus. So I'll introduce a frequency, you hear it, you tell me, no, the one I hear is a little higher pitch than that or lower, and we play with that until I can create the frequency sound that you're actually hearing. And then when we find out what frequency it is, or we can get close enough to it, then that sound can be put into a machine that can mask your tinnitus. And when you create the same sound that you're hearing, it in effect cancels it out. And so that's one thing. Now, that's a little bit on the fancier end of how to do it, making it custom. Oh, Ray's just found something. No. Okay, no, he's found white noise.
Yes.
Now, white noise, he's playing a static sound, and it's kind of like an in-between-the-station sound back when radios were analog and you could have a radio dial.
Right.
Right. So that white noise, or the sound of your air conditioner or your fan, or all of these other sounds that you normally are not aware of. They're there until you notice when the power goes off, you hear them. You hear that they're not there. But those sounds actually are very comforting masking sounds for people with tinnitus. And so when you have masking noise introduced, you usually are suffering less from your tinnitus. It's not actually changing anything for you. It's only changing the perception. And so a lot of times then when you turn that masking sound off, you might get the perception that your tinnitus got worse. It didn't, but it seems louder.
Yeah. This is it's one of the things I don't necessarily need to mask. I don't have any of those hearing issues, but I've found that white noise, if I'm having a hard time sleeping, if I'm in a different time zone or something like that, I'll often, just take, because you're sitting in a hotel room and there's not a whole lot. The air conditioning's pretty quiet. So I either open the window so I can get some city noise.
You need some noise, right?
Yeah,
noise helps you sleep.
or I use a white noise generator. This simulates the sound of rain falling, and you can get different kinds of rain.
And you can get overlays of crickets or anything. You can have all kinds, because everybody has a different sort of sound that they hear with tinnitus. So.
Oh, yeah. I do not fly without this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this app is on my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days. Jerry, do you think that's going to help you?
Yeah, actually it does.
They've also made a tinnitus pillow, just real quick. It's a pillow with a hole in the center of it, and it's got speakers in it, and you can put white noise, or you can put other types of music noise or music sounds if that's what helps you. But it's a super comfortable.
I have a problem falling asleep because I can fall asleep in like 30 seconds.
Okay. So it's not okay. What is it? So it's just bothering you when you're just awake and doing your thing.
Yeah, even now.
Yeah.
When I turn on the radio, it amplifies it, makes it even louder. Or when my daughter screams, I have to run out of the room. It's that bad.
Well, maybe you know what? Maybe a face-to-face visit over at Ross Hearing Aids. Maybe there's a couple other things that we might want to try.
You might want to do an ENT evaluation too first, because that's going to look at the medical aspect of it. So not all hearing loss is medically related, and not all of it requires doctor participation. In fact, most of it doesn't. That's why most insurance doesn't cover it. But it's definitely prudent to have a medical evaluation to rule something out.
Jerry, have a good weekend. Maybe K-pop will help solve that problem tomorrow.
K-pop.
I'll see you pretty soon. I don't know, Guns N' Roses, it's all noise, and it just happens to be noise with a beat. One of the other things that I found vital is sometimes when I've got to read something and actually try to understand what it is that I'm reading and internalize it, I've found it very, very helpful to have white noise off in the background.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, and so as you point out, I've got a bunch of radios around the house, and I'll just tune it to a frequency where there's nothing there and just listen to the white noise that plays in the background. And I've found that actually helps me concentrate on what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Because it masks all of the other noise for which there is information that will distract me with noise, and that's the definition of white noise, is there's no information in it.
Exactly. It's so interesting sound, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 9:55. It's been one of the favorite things that I've had to learn over the course of my career. It's 9:55. We'll be right back after these.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho 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 without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
That's all the time we've got together? Isn't that amazing? Deborah Wise, so even though I don't need a hearing aid now, I could wear that device and understand what my Tagalog-speaking friends are saying?
I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because you can do that with your phone, and there would be a number of other reasons you don't want to be amplifying sound unnecessarily. So I wouldn't suggest doing that.
Well, she's just talking about a little bit of eavesdropping. Deborah, trust me, how long have we lived out here in a land where English is sometimes a second or third language? Yeah, if they've switched from English to a different language and you're in the room, they're talking about you. Ismail saying military. Gosh, we yell a lot in the military. Maybe it has nothing to do with standing on tarmacs and being around artillery.
No,
Maybe
that's
it's all
just
of
to
that.
build character, and you know it. My son just got into the Coast Guard. He spent a few months getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Built his character just fine.
Exactly. It's the dose of character building you didn't get at home, right? And another point is certain air conditioners actually make the ringing worse. And I don't know which. Maybe it's the expensive kind. Go and find Kim at AAC Air and ask her about the inexpensive ones that they might have around there. So how do people find you anymore?
I am on Harmon Loop Road, across from Shirley's.
I know where that is.
Yep, same building where KUAM is, but they don't have a sign, so I don't often use them as a reference. But we're next to Compadres Mall.
In between Bank of Guam and First
Bank
Hawaiian.
of Guam and First Hawaiian, the building with the green roof. Yeah. Right across from Cost You Less and Shirley's. And
You
all
open
that.
all the time?
Pretty much. I practically live there. I mean, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and then Saturdays from 8:30 to noon, and Saipan once a month.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of customers there?
Lots.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And I'll be there December 19th at Mariana's Medical Center in Saipan.
All right. And do you have anybody else in the office, or is it just you? You still solo act?
I have 5 staff members, but I'm the only one that does the main thing. Everybody else is support staff.
So if I came to you and it looked like I needed to get a hearing aid, how soon could I get one that works for me? Do you have
Possibly in the same day, because I do have some things in stock. And then if it's something that I need to order, you're going to be about 10 days out, because my other new toy, and it's not new, is a scanner. So I have a 3D scanner. So after I make a mold of your ear, I pop it in a box, scan it, and now the lab has it. And
So
they're
you
already
don't have to
spaced.
send- you don't
I don't
have
have
to
to
send it
send
to
it.
them.
No, I just open the drawer beneath my scanner and chuck it in there with the other 10 million ear molds that are in there.
So I don't know which was the more fascinating part of the conversation. Just, the different things that can affect your ears, different
Oh,
technology.
you're going to
that
stop
we're
by
using.
now because you want to
Yeah,
see all
I
my
wanna see
toys.
I want to see the technology. It's the tech of it. It's something that plugs in. It's got a little battery
I
and
know.
lasers.
I'm there till late often, so I say we close at 5. But I've told people if you come by and see the lights on, just knock, because
I
I'm
gotcha.
always in there.
Bring a bottle of wine. It's 10
No, well,
o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG. You have a terrific weekend. From Michael Knight and Kevin Kerrigan and Blake Watson and everybody that made this such a fun week of doing radio. Thanks very much. Have a safe weekend. I'll be back with you Monday morning, 6 o'clock.
He'll fight it. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. He was fired by President Trump. Now James Comey is challenging a subpoena from Congress.
Former FBI Director James Comey has filed a motion in D.C. federal court to remove a subpoena requiring his testimony next week. The House Judiciary Committee issued that subpoena for Comey to answer questions about FBI decisions during the 2016 election. Comey said last week he would only testify in a public hearing. In the court filing, Comey's lawyers argue a closed-door interview is subject to selective leaking.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Louisiana Republican Congressman John Kennedy with a message for President Trump's former personal attorney Michael Cohen after Cohen pled guilty this morning in federal court.
Well, you shouldn't lie to Congress, especially when you're under oath. It's a crime. Do people do it? Yes. Why do they continue to do it? Because they're not prosecuted.
On Fox's The Daily Briefing with Dana Perino, Cohen admitted to making false statements to Congress about a Trump real estate project in Russia that never materialized. The president claims Cohen is lying. Authorities in Jackson, Mississippi say 2 children have been shot in a car near the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Police say a woman in the car grabbed the children and went into the hospital for treatment for what a hospital spokesman says injuries that don't appear to be life-threatening. The search continues for a suspect. People in about a dozen homes in an area of Northern California hit hard by wildfire need rescuing as flash floods move in.
The main threat, of course, is with thunderstorms producing heavy rainfall, hourly rainfall rates of over half an inch of hour. And if that falls over areas that have burn scars, that soil is no longer really rooted to the ground.
Meteorologist Jim